Cryo and try and defend that, but I've then got an idea. An eye on these double globals. Delir Pantheon collapsing on Lucian Nami, jumping forward. Sounds pretty scary to me.
So, very different bot lanes. We're really not used to seeing these. I would have expected maybe some Ashe. Well, maybe not that one at this point, but Kalista, Corki, you know, other tricks which we've seen so much more. The Jhin, of course, very powerful as well. It was really only the Varus that was banned away. So first game, going towards hyper carries instead is not what we see typically within the LPL. And we get something a little bit different. Ain't that fun?
That should be a bit of a fun way to start our day off. And again, I feel like Starry at point has been one of the brightest sparks on OMG. They've struggled a bit, but when he's popped...
Trivia, we can do that when we have some downtime.
A spoiler of the question, guys. What can I say? You're lucky you're here early. If we go, see whether we got some gyros today.
Well, one person's already got it correct over in Twitch chat. Oh, wait, Jones.
We're not hearing any. Alex wants to do our own gyros.
DDJ! Oh, no, OMG!
Gyro!
OMG!
Gyro!
OMG!
Gyro!
Yuppie!
Gyro!
Yuppie!
Gyro!
Yuppie!
Gyro!
LGD! Lag on you!
Lag on you!
For those of you that don't know, LGD, a common fan chat like TSM. So the organization which has won the LPL the most is EDG. 6 times the EDG has won the LPL over the many years. Many of that from the early years of League of Legends as well. 2013, 2014, and then 2016 were really dominant. That organization, and the longest win streak has not been discovered in chat yet. So if you figure that out, not longest win streak, the best game score, you let us know on that one too. Watch out, good level 1. You need to be very careful to not get too many shots for free onto you. You need to have the ability to kind of like bop in as the cat, bop out, and kind of like play around Lucian's low auto attack range. If you can hit Lucian with a Q from the Yuumi, or a W from the Yuumi as they try and step forward, you can slow them down and stop them from getting that double tap, which can be very crucial.
Very much so. Our eyes on it, of course. Yuumi very heavily changed since her days of dominance. She no longer has a root on her ultimate, which is a really big deal. That's no longer an engage tool that she has, which was very, very, very strong. It is now just a healing field and a slow, which is okay, but it's certainly not the high power ultimate it once used to be, and that was, among many other things, one of those very significant reasons why Yuumi really did fall out of meta for a significant amount of time.
Pushing in from top lane is EGN on the Gwen, player who's prided for their individual dueling potential, and pushed in the bot side as well. Only really... Ooh, that's a trade. That's the kind of stuff you got to avoid. The Ignite was dropped as well to stop some of that healing, which makes sense. Also noting that the Ignite is on the Lucian. This is something that we saw the last time the Lucian Nami was in meta. Junhao now going towards bot side, trying to leverage off of this winning lane.
Looking to try and find the invade in here. We'll see the red buff is up. Kind of has an idea then that the cloaks are probably being started right now. He's going to try and steal that one away while he's got that lane fire.
Slip now pushing in with the level 4 mark. Charlotte not able to flip that wave and get towards that early, which means that not able to respond towards this, which means Beishang is kind of on their own. Steal comes through. Saber, let's be a little careful here.
Charlotte was looking to see whether there'd be a charm angle, doesn't find it, and so backs away on that one.
I was wondering whether Charlotte would be able to come over at all, actually. It's worth noting that the 2 players involved in that from OMG, the 2 replacements, Beishang and Charlotte, was Linfeng and who was the jungle before that? Was it Shafang who was in the jungle? I can't remember if... yeah, I think that was the case. A bit hard to keep track of all of the... We've had a lot of changing rosters now at this point, in case it was not apparent, folks.
Shafang, I think, is now on LGD.
It's Hung, sorry, it's Hung. Yeah, he was on that before. I can take a good down.
So it's going on the Wacko. Heal comes on down in trade, so it ends up being a trade of summers for now, but trading that from OMG to get a bit of pressure back. Red side quadrant we go of Prime, though. Beishang and Charlotte looking to try and trade back a little bit of that invade. Heal bolt forward though, but get knocked up by the 3 Talon strike. They still gets the Raptors courtesy of his jungle pet, but didn't get the smite quite on time. Yujang over the wall, looking for a potential angle on in. Will just snip vaguely over and get involved. First spot over to Junhao bot side. It is a knife by Wacko low, flashed away. Can't quite get in range for the kills with the full auto.
Very close, but the big thing is Starry and Moham have won themselves presence back in this lane. They get themselves a better reset. Wacko will not be able to stick around for the cannon minion. Moen was actually wondering whether he could get himself tagged onto a plate kill at that point too. Cheeky kitty. As OMG, they'll send their bot lane back. They'll get that tier 2 boot. Very important for the Zeri to get that in this kind of lane. Helps you dodge out on non-skill shots. And also means you can outspace the Lucian in the way that we were saying was so important earlier. Stopping getting that follow-up double tap auto if possible.
Pretty much every summoner is now blown in the bot side. The Ignite will be up soon, and maybe that'll be a break point. We'll keep our eyes on it. Lane swap coming on out. Starry and Moam look to flip things around a little bit. Eugen's still around up here, looking to see whether we can find an angle. Or level 5, not really at level 6 anytime soon. We're going to need another wave and a half before that one becomes a real possibility.
Follow up on the trivia earlier, by the way. The best game record of any team within the LPL in a single split was actually OMG in 2014 spring. They went in, I think in games, I think it was 25-3 in terms of game record. So back in 2014, many years ago, but OMG technically the best percentage game record as the Needlework comes out top left.
That all in, there is no summoner spells, remember. Starry trying to get towards the wall and just can't get there. The level 6 comes in and now this cat's got no move speed. You've got no boots. Get to bottom block shield. You're going to try and get the kill and does so. Will die, but in 1 for 2 is all fine for this Gwen.
Eugen shows the dueling prowess and takes it into a 1v2. 2 kills and 700 gold up now onto the Sion, who's looking at the other side of the map going, wait, I thought we were even in CS. I thought I'd done my job. Bot lane, big mistake from Starry Mob after they just won their own lane.
Oh, let's look at this again. We said, look, level 6 not going to be here for a wave and a half. A wave and a half later, and look what happens.
You've used your summoners on the bot side as well. W comes forward, a couple of summoners, cooldowns used by Starry Moen. Can't get towards the wall for the wall ride, and Eugen just runs at them with the ghost. There is no disengage at this point. Of course, Yumi's got nothing to do about this. He does manage to get a kill back onto the Gwen, which is a little bit sad that the Zeri can't get a kill. Does get the participation, but can't get the kill gold out of that. Eugen very happy.
Reset comes on through. Gwen resets, got themselves the full haunting guys. They're all very, very happy. You know, they already got an assist from snipping over the wall when we saw that Shinzao get caught out on the Raptor pits as well. So poor Sion, who's done the lane just fine, up 10 CS, is going, hang on, why am I now down, 400, 500 gold here? Exactly the most entertaining moment. Still, got ourselves Grub spawning in 25 seconds. Might be our next port of call as Jarosha away there just briefly. Wacko on the Striker Lucian skin. Did become a little bit of a notorious Lucian main skin for a while, that one.
Yeah, well, this is the skin which a lot of people played when it pretty much on release, actually. Isn't it inspired by... Is it Ronaldinho that it's inspired by the hairstyle?
I feel like with the hair.
It was also like of that era as well, just towards kind of the end. Well, I think Ronaldinho had already retired by that point, but that would have been, 2014, 2015 or so. 2014 would have been. Beishang on the top side does have that flash. There's a big fight coming through. Starry stepping by that wall so he can hop over a long distance if he chooses to. Doesn't have to in this case. Oh, Edgar Davids, right? Okay. See, I'm not that clued up on football, so I'm actually not that. I know the very famous players, but I don't really know many outside of that. So I think
here's on Jake and Teddy, otherwise known as Limbani, barging down our door to start yelling at us, but with random, really obscure Arsenal facts.
No, fight coming in.
Gonna get a fair amount of damage back as Beishang in danger. Crescent Guard with Burn stays alive. Ultimate's down and Xiaoxia used their heal, but Starry doesn't get that much power. The lightning crash and Beishang has to burn the ult.
No, ult from John Hao.
Here we go. Turn around as Beishang now in danger, gets healed, but shoved back, dies. Charlotte has also popped the Spirit Rush, but hasn't found a reset or an assault yet as he dives on forward and really regrets the slow. The Ultra Shot laser slow prevents too much follow-up, but that'll be a 2 extra grubs. Make that 3 over to Ultra Prime and the kill.
In case you were ever wondering why LPL is picking up Pantheon Talira's 1-2 so much, it is exactly this. Both the global ultimates come through at the level 6 marker for the Pantheon, and they can just snap. Avengers assemble, going into a big fight. Junhao and Saber turn up, and OMG, because they're out of position, don't have a great answer towards this. The start of this, not great from Beishang, who goes in and gets immediately slammed with a load of CC, loses the ultimate for free. That's not great. The problem after this is splitting the team. Ultimate comes in from the Pantheon, Ultimate comes in from the Talia, Avengers assemble, dead Shin's out. This is why it's so important. They have a lot of damage early on into the game, but they can turn up and make plays from a lot of different angles. And of course, Charlotte walking into the, well, dashing into the minefield.
Rocks, yeah.
Not great.
Breaks their own ankles. Alrighty then. Well, now we find Ultra Prime. Not exactly unexpectedly here. Feeling a lot more confident in this game. We generally came in saying, look, Ultra Prime in some ways was like this, right? They didn't make Ascend with the way they were looking in that kind of, what do we call it? Like the tiebreaker playoff, so to speak. The
last chance qualifiers. I mean, that would technically be for plus, but yeah, last chance qualifiers, that works. Also, welcome, Mr. Kuehl. Good to see you. We'll be seeing a bit of you later. Molecule works on the LEC now, those stats. It's very cool getting virtual service. And yeah, I know that Molecule, someone who's paid attention to a lot of our PCS players, which is why I see players like, you know, Wacko and Egen, a couple of the players that come through, YSKM, I'm like, yep, this is the authority on this, by the way.
I've also appreciated the great deal of love and support that has gone the way of Bonk. You say, like, this guy's really good, guys, don't sleep on him. Like, it turns out he is, in fact, really good.
You know, Ultra Prime, they rolled a bit of a butt dice this year by saying, okay, let's bring in some, you know, let's bring in some players which were doing quite well in PCS. You know, Wacko, been there for a long time. EGN, the player that was on Frankie Sports as well, notable Riven one trick. Let's see how they can do in the LPL, and presumably for budget reasons too, alongside that point on bot side. Playing some vision, we spotted, we're going to get a good trade then. But Ultra Prime, I think the experiment's a little inconclusive. I don't know exactly what their goals for this year were. They were very close towards that upper group, and I think they're, as you were saying earlier, they'll feel a little hard done by that they didn't reach Group Ascent.
Well, you never know. Depends how playoffs go. They might still end up with a dark horse run towards a little bit further than people think they can. People like John Howe here, I think, when the Neferi first came out and John Howe was really styling on that, you felt pretty excited to see parts of Ultra Prime, but they are forever their own worst enemy. Those game 3 scenarios, sure, but game 1 right now, they're fighting over this dragon. Charlotte again over the unraveled earth. They'll get the dragon, but everyone melts before it. Sorry, wall riding over, won't chase over it, will the Lucian. He gets the dragon, sure, but losing another set of kills. I go another there. In a horrible stutter, but unfortunately OMG kind of stuttered with their decision making there. So you know what, kind of apt.
very easily. Gold's getting out of hand. Some side lanes and objectives going inside of Ultra Prime.
The Ultra Prime to Worlds run starts here, says Molecule. And you know what? If it turns out this way, 17 minutes, 30 seconds in, Game 1 OMG versus Ultra Prime. You heard it here. This is where it begins.
Ultra Prime, a good standing point for them. Good starting point. They've had a good recovery of this bot lane, which did fall behind in that 2v2. Themselves up to a good amount of objectives. Yeah, OMG. Showing why they're kind of 0-4 in this group.
Yeah, definitely still struggling fairly heavily here. Second item, now done for the Lucian. Second item, happily done for the Gwen. OMG find themselves in a precarious position, make no mistake about it. 5,000 gold down, a lot of objectives, including 2 dragons and some grubs. The scaling isn't exactly a sure lock here, despite having this area, because there's a Gwen on the other side. And the rest of your team isn't necessarily the hyperscalers you might like outside of, say, Scion, Infinite, Soul Furnace scaling. Exactly a done deal is the long and short of it.
I do just look at this sign going, wow, I'm going to scale for forever. Okay, well, the Nexus will be done in approximately 7 minutes or so. Cool. I reckon this game is ending before 30 minutes at this point. With this kind of composition, with the ability to force fights the way that they've been doing, Scion is not getting towards their infinite point of power. And they've built up magic resist right now, largely, and it's not even like Wacko is particularly weak in this game. Also come across mid lane, trying to take the tower.
Weaver's Wall locks off Beishang and Charlotte, who don't want to ult any Gen facing off with Harry. Will find him on 1v3, but still has the Hallowedness to work with. Charlotte gets inside it, but I don't know how much they enjoyed doing that. Got the charm, and there's a ghost running. There's still a load of needles. They lose to tier 1 anyway. It really doesn't turn into all that much. 3 members try to jump the Gwen and get half her HP bar.
Yay! Trade deal! I offer you 1,000,000 cooldowns. I give you half the HP of my top laner. And you still don't save the top lane, the mid lane turret. So Ultra Prime get what they came here for. Ultra Prime get to walk forwards with all outer turrets now down.
Yeah, that one's rough. Goes back to base, does Wacko, and picks himself up a Last Whisper. We call it a Lord Dominic's Regards. It seems quite catchy.
No,
yeah,
not
that's
quite,
it took me a second. If you wonder what the pause was, it was me remembering item names. It happens occasionally.
I reckon he'll go towards the Mortal Reminder as well, because the anti-heal for the Yuumi, definitely quite valuable. There is a Mikhail's onto Moem right now. Doesn't affect the Nami ultimate, but does affect the cube if it lands onto you. The Nami bubble's a weird coded ability, because it's technically a stun with a visual
suspension.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? That is what a suspension is. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Ah, okay, with you.
It's a visual suspension. Well, what do you mean by visual suspension? It's like, basically, it is a stun, so you can cleanse it with Cleanse and with Mikhail's, but it also counts as a knock-up for things which interact with it like a Yasuo.
Gotcha.
It's a very unique spell like that. I think it's one of maybe only 1 or 2 in the entire game.
Lessons on league coding with one Alex Nymaera Hapkids. Starry gets jumped on, turns it around though. The lightning gets crashed. Exhaust out. Wacko will have to let the pursuit away. Flash to flash. The heal comes on board. Flash for the heal in turn on the other side. Lucian just about surviving, and they've gone too deep. They can't lock the Lucian down. Now the Gwen comes on over. There's that suspension you were talking about. The coding means nothing in the face of death. Brand Starfall into the backline. Beishang will throw down the Crescent Guard, but unfortunately, they are passing this geometry test. There's better circles in the form of the Hallowed Mist, and Gwen, understandably, is immune.
OMG look for a way to break open the map pressure, and they instead break their spines on the shields of Ultra Prime. The double globals come out from the mid jungle again, who I think have really been a good engine for the way that Ultra Prime have been playing the map. But of course, again, a player which has been doing so much work is Egen. Turns up to the play, cleans things up towards the end of it. Go towards this replay. Starry, decent trade back. 2v2. Zeri Yuumi does do very well against the Lucian Nami if they get slightly ahead of them, and they have done. But you are playing as a team that can very quickly respond. Saber, within a couple of seconds, turns up to the play. The play starts going wrong, and you have another global coming through. Yes, you do lose 1 kill to Charlotte, throwing his ult across the team, but by this point, Egen comes back in towards the play, Pantheon has that second global, and you're on full retreat. You don't have damage at this point. OMG, disaster plays. They can't find anything working for them.
I don't blame Starry for looking. I don't blame Moan for looking. The game is looking pretty doomed. You take the low percentage play and go, well, let's hand check it. Let's see if we can get it. And in fairness, they got close. They burned every summoner. It required a clutch flash over the fat walls to get in range for the heal onto the Lucian to give the move speed out. You know, that's not bad going considering how messy and unfortunate this game has gone. The problem is, you are running low percentage plays now. You don't have very easy options here. Gonna try and rush down an Atacant. While the soul point is being claimed by Ultra Prime. There is a Gwen around. He's pretty strong at this point. May feel the urge for 1v4. We'll see exactly how aggressively Ultra Prime want to contest this. Marco. Towards the bottom side of this. Only behind them. Down to 3,000 HP. This should just be Atacant. The bounty picked up, so there's the fight. Oh my days! Bishop gets the crescent card down, but I don't know if there's going to be enough there. Goes the Hallowed Mist. Harry gets knocked up by the tidal wave. He in the backside gets charmed. That will likely be the death of the Gwen. Not bad. Now Wacko with Jason, but nobody dominates and dies as well. 2 kills to Harry. Somehow the Scion popping off. John Howe finally turns up. Harry turns down into a zombie. Charlotte hops away from the side. Big Shove safe, but getting run at. Does finally survive. OMG actually end up with a few key kills. Unfortunately, they went largely to the Scion and not, say, the Zeri.
So it's Atacant and 3 kills over towards OMG, and there's an ultimate coming through from John, who doesn't quite end up judging the angle well enough and doesn't have a flash to follow up. Charlotte will make it out safely, but Ultra Prime, bit of a stumble there. OMG getting themselves more than I thought they would be afforded in this plate. Starry back out onto the map, and the Zeri is scary. There are 2.5 items. The Zeri is behind in gold, but as we saw in that plate, they are still a Zeri Yumi. If you let them get some auto-attack uptime, they'll do a lot of damage with this kind of item breakpoint. And have the Atacant on them now too, which means that they get some, show you on the top of the screen. The actual indicator itself changes shape, by the way. So they have the Spirit Petals now, the Spirit Blooms, as opposed to the Bloody Petals that Ultra Prime have. And it collects all of the remaining ones on the map when you kill it. So OMG gets some value there. Now the other thing which we'll see is if you get a kill after killing the Atacant, has this AoE explosion which damages and slows. It can occasionally be quite powerful. I haven't seen it change games yet, but maybe this could be one of them, especially with OMG being behind the game. Get that single kill, maybe that'll change things.
That will be the plan, that'll be the idea. Third item now picked up for this Scion. He picked up a couple key shutdowns there. See whether he can play frontline. It's not really about the Scion, it's been more about the fact that Beishang has not been a great time. His frontline still won't be, so it's like a 1 item here. Look at nearly at 2, but John Howe will be getting a DA relatively shortly looking at the build. At this point, you begin to wonder exactly how much value that feel-good moment really is for OMG. It is a feel-good moment, but that is not, I don't think, game-changing per se. It is a single step on a very long ladder to come back into this game.
Yeah, quite hard to come back into a game when your jungler is 0 and 7.
That's not great.
Beishang, he's come in as a late replacement to OMG. I'm not discrediting them on too much because of that. I think it is an extenuating circumstance coming into a failing team as a kind of emergency substitute. But still, being 0 and 7. That's where the microscope goes first, and it doesn't even have to zoom in particularly far to see where the problems lie. You have to zoom out, actually. Yeah, you need to change the magnification around a little bit on that, because John Howe has been a huge difference between most teams which Ultra Prime have beaten. He's been one of our best junglers outside of our top group. John Howe's been really making a name for himself. Baron is now available. Ultra Prime potentially setting up for this one. We'll say Harry not in a bad position to start cutting off some of his choke points, using those 1,000 W stacks to delay Ultra Prime getting towards the carries.
So, 1.5 minutes until Soul for Ultra Prime. Baron's up as well. Damned if you do, damned if you don't for OMG. When those two objectives are up at the same time, you will have to give control over one time on Beishang. Once again, split off. Either way comes on down. Knocked up. 0-8 before he goes to crash, got down. 0-8. Charlotte comes across the wall. Does land a good charm onto Wacko. But then that means Yijek gets a free moment to go into the backside. Looking to get as many needles down as possible. Gets him across Charlotte and Starry, who does manage to heal up at least a little bit. But the Scion is dead. Beishang is dead. There is no front line anymore. And Baron is up, and there's more than enough damage to bring down the purple worm.
No front line, no smites. OMG will be losing the big objective on the top side of the map, and that is just in time for the dragon to spawn on the bot side for Soul for Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime, clean plays besides that Atacant this game. The Atacant was that stumble. OMG will be able to push in towards mid lane, maybe get themselves objective bounty from that. I actually think Wacko's making a bit of a mistake by staying here, but with the teleport coming through, maybe there'll be a cleanup play to be made too.
If he comes on through, he's in already here. Ghost running. He's running towards Wacko, trying to get someone with it. Can't quite get in range. Final tap to pass, but it does not make a damn difference. 2 extra kills, but they get a tier 1. Again, it's desperation plays.
Hang on.
OMG.
They're actually going for the inhibitor now. They're not even going towards the soul straight up. Junhao pushing in bot side. They say, well, I mean, you're not going to be able to contest for the dragon anyway. You've just lost your bot lane. The only thing which is strong about your team, let's go slam some inhibitors down.
That one sucks. There goes the inhibitor. How far do they want to push? They've got 20 seconds on Starry. They'll just stay with the inhibitor. Don't want to overforce it. We'll still look towards that soul. In comes the Weaver's Wall bot side of Charlotte. Will ult out to safety, but Beishang once again in danger. Goes back in.
0 and 9.
Charlotte eats some more needles. Again, the acupuncture sessions just proved to be really uncomfortable and not at all healing.
No, that's the ones which go like straight to your spinal column. Oh wait, is that a thing? Anyway, it's gone straight into the spinal column for this one. Beishang, yeah, having a pretty hard time of it. And this is not a tanky side when everyone's hit. Got a couple of kills earlier. They really haven't meant that much now. That's another jump forwards.
Lens came on down with the Mikhails, but that just gave opportunities for John. Had a flash, shield vault, will get a kill onto the Pantheon, but everyone dies for it. A worthy sacrifice from the jungler of Ultra Prime, and they don't give a damn about Soul. They give a damn about the Nexus turrets. They give a damn about the Nexus, and it is calm, it is calculated, it is commanding. Ultra Prime, game 1 victory.
Wacko trying to send Beishang to 0 and 10. No power spike reached for the Shin Sao. If only it had one more death, perhaps he could have carried. Jungler of...
High hit, Poppy. Oh, consideration. Locked in. There's that support. Lane dominant. Annoying for the Rakan. Annoying for the Galio. Very annoying for the Ambessa. Good Roma as well. A good dive buddy for the Vi. I think that's a solid last pick. Support option. Insane Poppy angle. Molecule, right there with you. Yeah, a lot out of this game. I think, in fact, everybody but Skarner you're messing with here to an extent. And I suppose the Xayah. She doesn't have a dash out of the air. Okay, so the big engage tools and the Ambassador's going to cry. On to the Rift we go. What could be OMG's final ever appearance in the LPL.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
No Giles. That's a little bit sad, really. Well, from myself and Alex then, OMG Jail. There you go well. To whatever comes next. The very oldest organizations here in the LPL. Certainly one of the most storied. I remember them turning up to Season 4 All-Stars. Cool. Try and bring down fake Zoriana. There's an army in that game. In fact, it might have even been with Illusion. Yep, 9 struck by Poppy. There you go. Appreciate that. Calm down, right? It's just a ward. Doesn't matter. Punch it harder. Ambassador flank with Galio ult and Rakan full up is the hope. Exactly. Or Skarner ult that sets up for Ambassador ult, that sets up for Galio ult, that sets up for everything else. And then you've actually got quite a lot of good disengage with Skarner and Rakan and Xayah Feathers and Galio. Try and punish the Vi going forwards. You are a little shy on the damage. There we go. Eugene just came off an MVP. He's on. Cat Mancy Yorick. Crazy Cat Lady Yorick. Get over the Dark Procession. A decent combo. Thank you very much, Alexander. Comes bearing gifts of caffeine. So, Alex.
Yeah.
Let's look at the comps. got ourselves Skarner, Galio, CC, manage the Vi, engage, and try and have your own horrible CC chain comp. A little low on the damage. Combos there. Ultra Prime, globals with Yorick and Rise side lane push, and a really great Poppy angle. Really interrupt and mess with a lot of what OMG want to do.
Also, worth noting, globals with the Yorick in the game, both teams having to have something to do with Yorick in a side lane. That's been the way that the LPL has kind of evolved around. Yorick is such a strong individual split pusher.
Chat, you owe me $5. That one was exactly what I said Alex would say.
Really?
You can pay in the form of subs, guys. That's all I'm saying.
The thing is, like, one of the most powerful things we can do on the microphone is repeat something in a compelling enough way that you remember it as chat. The fact that you have walked away being like, oh, obviously it's about the globals and the and the Yorick, means that we have done our job well. Because it means that you have correctly identified and immediately identified the fact that Yorick is strong in a 1v1, globals are one of the biggest answers towards them.
Also a great way of supporting the Yorick, playing for those side lanes. Shaosha eats a lot of damage there, combo there from Moab. Knight comes on down, and Starry does also eat a fair amount of HP bar, and Wacko, he's an Ezreal, he's got level 3, he'll be okay to solo lane for a little bit while the Poppy maybe needs to reset hit, and we'll do just that.
OMG really needs Starry to do a lot of work in this, don't they? He is the one consistent damage source. Shaosha, there's no matter what's happening here, wall stun!
Heal rapidly on in, Shaosha's gonna get knocked out there. That's a little bit bold, my friend, got a barrier, that means the Poppy's gonna die. There was a heal! There was a why?
I don't get it. They went towards the higher HP target of the two. The wall stun is followed up by nothing because you've already used your ignite. The heal is not stopped by anything, and Shaosha just throws the bot lane and Ultra Prime with 2 kills down.
Valhalla was calling, and Shaosha wanted an early ticket. Top lane, we're going to try and see a dive.
Worth noting, Sam, when you're sat there with that distance from them, hang on, problem, dive in the top side, will escape. I need to be careful of the game sound, because if you're sat at this one, you're sat as 2 people, don't put the immediate source to 0. It's a little bit too loud. Notice that from chat said that in both games now.
Copy that.
Just put that down a little bit. And hopefully now that's fine for you all in chat. Let us know what the audio is like. I did dip it just a touch.
Apologies on that one. Went back to the 0 on this one. I clearly should not.
I typically do that when I'm casting one person because I can get closer to the mic. I think when we're casting as turbos, the mic, the audio gets a little bit lower from us because we're a little further from the mic.
That makes some sense.
So, 2 early kills for OMG. Bot lane is now a problem. We asked Starry to get ahead because he's the consistent damage source from OMG. He's ahead. He's ahead. He's going to be really strong now in Ultra Prime. We'll be asking questions of their bot laners why they didn't just chill. They didn't need to throw that gold at the Xayah like that.
How do I put this? It feels like Ultra Prime do this at least one game a series, where someone just loses their brain and goes for a play in the most inexplicably anti-clutch way possible. Sometimes it's Shaosha, sometimes it's Junhao, sometimes Saber just randomly instant lane. EJ goes for a 1v1 and just horribly loses. Like, there is a little bit of solo queue that just lurks under the surface of these players that comes back to haunt them at the worst possible time.
It's one of the more interesting things about the LPL. I am intrigued by wondering how players think that play was going to work out. Like, what's the angle? You obviously pulled the trigger. Why did you think that would work? And clearly we just have different ideas of what happens in the game of League of Legends. Junhao behind an XP compared to Beishang, which is a bit worrying. I'm not exactly sure how he lost that many camps. It wasn't allowed for the early game, of course. Saber already used his Realm Warp, so not using that to be able to get out onto the map. Shaosha to escape from that W. Ultra Prime need this Yorick online ASAP to even out the fact that the Xayah is now ahead.
That'll be the plan. Early BF sword tricky. 20 CS lead as well is problematic. Vi does manage to finagle her way out. Beishang and Harry were both collapsing, but a quick Q over the wall gets the Vi out to safety. She says, see you later, nerds. Maybe we smell you later, nerds. We'll go for the 90s references today, I've decided.
This the Back to the Future ones. Like, make like a tree and get out of here. I've been trying to catch up again on some classic movies I missed while I was growing up. I'm rewatching some, you know, rewatching the... So I'd never watched a lot of the Predator films. I watched one of the Alien vs. Predators. Hang on a second. That's some damage on sword. Owie, BF sword first back. Does give you a lot of DPS uptick.
Couple daggers into an immediate feather pool is not a route anymore in the way it was in release. Still a lot of damage, especially when you have got that early bit of AD. Asked to be the hyper carry in this game. Certainly doing a decent look at it so far. 25 TS up now. The plate's top side. The win con for OMG has never been more obvious, I feel.
Now the question will be, how do you circumvent that? How do you stop Xayah being impactful in a game? How do you stop her from team fighting well, if you can? Because you get the Xayah ult onto the Vial, that's the problem. Does it need to be Realm Warp from Saber to then force the Realm the Featherstorm instead? Does that just kill the Rise at that point? Because Galio can play peel for you. I think in 5v5s, OMG have a significant advantage if Xayah can kind of stand their ground with so much damage like this.
I think especially if it's in the mid game before some of the additional members of Ultron get to the point where they can start melting the front line through. We saw that just yesterday from BLG, where they had a crazy lead with a Galio comp, and then in about 30 minutes or so, their front line wasn't a front line anymore, it was a front suggestion. Everything started getting a lot trickier from there, going to free kind of as a result. Dragon Trail for Ultron, and that might be a win con in and of itself. Get a few of those early dragons to allow the Rise and Yorick split pushing to say, yeah, well, we're not going to play a 5v5, we'll play 2v2, sure. 3v3. Nice interrupt there on the reset with the double true shot barrage. Wacko, legendary as real. There, Xiaoxia, not quite in time, didn't want to flash.
Oh Jesus, it's a Yuntal before 10 minutes. That why did they throw those kills at them? What was Xiaoxia thinking? That could genuinely flip the game in the same way.
Yeah.
In the same way that we were wondering about last game, starring winning the 2v2 against Wacko and Xiaoxia as well with the Zerayumi. They were bailed out by EGN at that point. That hasn't happened here, where the Gwen just runs both you down in quick succession after they switch into the Gwen's lane. It's not happened here. So OMG have a very fed AD carry. They have that level 6. They have barrier. They have a heal on their support as well. I'm not sure what Ultra Prime do about this. It's going to take a while for the Yorick to get online. Now we do have Saber brought on the top side. Man does have ult, but misses the W, but Shang does get the wall stun, and that's all the globals coming in.
Immediate flash away from Saber keeps him alive, but it means he's not going to be able to get towards this turret, and with 3 grubs picked up earlier, more gold going into Starry's pocket. This gold lead balloon a little further, and an additional marker towards those feats of strength secured.
Well, where's the cross-map from Ultra Prime? You could have kept someone mid lane. Wacko chooses not to. I don't think he realizes that Saber was that safely. EGN is actually losing the individual matchup versus Harry right now. Level down, that's actually a fairly big problem. You'd normally expect the Yorick to be just hammering through any individual matchup once you get a couple of levels and a couple of components in. So it's tough for OMG. No cross map for Ultra Prime. Slow on the macro. Wacko will play it now, but it's a problem.
Backs against the wall. OMG goes towards classic for Starry. And when I was casting LDL, Starry was one of those AD carries who was a little mercurial, but on a team that was struggling a little bit, was playing with the likes of Linfong, who was wonderful, but spicy, shall we say, using the Kali Yasuo player, and sometimes that meant your comps got really, really weird. He's got some weird stats. For example, Starry, Kai'Sa, 7 and 12 all time, most played, but he's on a team that wasn't that successful, so that number gets a little bit thrown under the bus. Xayah is his 3rd most played champion of all time, 18 games on it.
Yep.
What do you think his win rate is?
12 and 6.
14 and 4.
Ooh, that's nice, especially if it's on a struggling team.
Yeah. That's career, so that's even when he's been up in LPL.
Yeah, and now he's played less of it in LPL. When I think about him in LPL, I think of Jinx when he first came up. That is the champion which I think of, but yeah, I mean,
the specialties, I agree.
And now considering that he is the bright spot on a doomed roster, OMG, the worst team in the LPL this year, Starry is the player I would take up from this roster and hope for better things from him. That's the player I'd take away from it. Of course, a little bit sad to see when you've got players like Moem who were in Worlds last year. He's struggled for a little while, though. I think watchers of Moem will realize that he's been struggling even when he was going to Worlds. But OMG, they are not without talent. I was hoping for something from Linfong as well, their mid laner. Sadly for him, subbed out for Charlotte. Not really sure what's happened there. We don't really get to hear about the internal communications that much, of course. And we're into a very much a lull state in this game. Just moving around, waiting until the dragon spawns. Starry pushing out mid waves, moving to a side lane, grouping up. And in this case, going towards the Oryx lane, has that first item. Base shot, that's a couple of missed skill shots, not sure about that one.
Junhao in danger, getting nice people straight, knocks people away. Moam and Starry go up to the sky. Wakana looking for a decent angle over the back end of the public execution of White. And lots of buttons pressed. No one actually falls down.
I think that's a big win for Ultra Prime. OMG were the ones that were initially putting a lot of members into the side lane. They are the ones that lose the Zyra ultimate, and now potentially there's a chance of a Flash Wallstone from Xiaoxia or a Rune Prison out of a Realm Warp from Saber to maybe force something onto Starry, and that will be something which Ultra Prime should consider heavily.
Down to collapse on the side lane goes on. 40 seconds until Dragon. With a lot of those big cooldowns there, and actually I feel like Ultra Prime, as you were kind of noticing, with a decent window here to get something done on the map. They've actually set the right top lane, want to try and play for that turret instead, interestingly. It's like a teleport force, the root goes down on the Xiaoxia. No additional feather caller available, so can't bring the feathers back a second time that quickly. So, not with that ridiculous amount of ability haste as yet. So now, Q won't be quite in range. Yeah, they will well warp out there. I don't know whether that was absolutely necessary, but there we go. Burn
with no ult like available from Moam. Oh, hang on a second, gets a decent trade in there. But with no ult from Beishang and Moam, I think that was that was too much for that Realm Warp. That was too much. Should have been able to use that to force down onto Starry. Egen now has that first item, but Harry, credit to him, I think he's had a rough year, doing well in this individual matchup. And that's important, because the win condition of Ultra Prime is having a very strong split pushing Yorick with the Rise ulti into their lane. OMG can start up the Dragon on the bot side, no contest really coming through from Ultra Prime. Junhao just clearing through top side.
Get that. That's that Dragon secured. Second objective in for OMG. No one's got 3 strength. Very slow game so far. Especially compared to last game, which was a bloody affair. So with the exception of the very swift ride of the Valkyries from Xiaoxia into Doom, kind of been it action-wise. I understand why Ultra Prime perhaps not wanting to get involved early on, the way their comp plays. You want an item or two on the likes of your Rise and Ezreal and Yorick before you're really, really online in a way that OMG got their first item. They're kind of happy to do.
I just don't see what Ultra Prime are getting out of the map right now. I just don't see it. Well, I mean, right now, getting a genocide. This is the first thing. Okay, this is what they need to do. This question that before I get to fully. The redemption coming through.
System comes down. Regen gets a decent amount of healing with the last rides. Harry going to flash away using it out of that hero's entrance. It just means that Harry is dead to right. They teleported it all for that. Gets another Q before the taunt gets that much value. There's a main and a mist. Still sucking away. And sucking away and just interrupting my own sentence. Either way, the point stands. The Galio dies. And I fumbled my sentence, much like Charlotte fumbles the TP blade. It all comes together in the end.
This is exactly what Ultra Prime wanted. It's taken a while for them to pull the trigger on this, to pull a global into the lane of the Yorick is huge. You do see the ultimate from the Poppy, disengaging mid lane importantly. So Egen even gets a time alone hit. He could take this full turret, by the way. There's no globals left for OMG. There's a teleport coming through. And that'll save them. So that is the last remaining global, pardon me, as Harry will go down to respond to that. But Egen gets online.
Marco being engaged onto here. The quickness comes on down. Flash away from Xiaoxia, keeps him alive. 2-shot barrage buffers through some of the potential turnaround CC. Doesn't necessarily end up being required. Will engage there from Mon. Earns himself a flash off Xiaoxia. Will be the end of that.
Gold lead's almost even now. Top side of the map doing well for Ultra Prime. See that Ambessa can kind of struggle against the Vi too. And it's even a Serpent's Fang being built up for Egen first. Can help against Skarner. Of course, helps against the Repudiate and the Eclipse through from Harry as well. Which means that
shields, yeah.
Galio, I'm actually not sure it works on the... Not sure it works on the magic damage shield of Galio.
That's a good question, because is Serpent's Fang only white shields? I don't know.
Well, we'll maybe see something about that at on this point. Charlotte has flash, might be forced to use it. No, we'll get out safely. But I seem to remember Rel doesn't break magic shields with her Q, so I don't know whether it's coded the same way. That's the one thing which gives me a bit of pause. It should do, I agree it should do, but I'm not sure it does.
mid lane, looking to try and threaten Mo and Starry. The Herald comes on down and gets that mid-tier one. Starry takes that one forward. The W comes on down. Harry's still there though. Redemption comes on through. Starry, he'll back up. Feathers are good, but he's dead. We'll turn it into a 1-for-1 as it stands. They're going to kill him. Wacko is now dead and gone. G-Gen sends a load of ghouls into the back line. Rune Prism onto Beishak, who's still very tanky at this point. Damage a little bit absent right now for Ultra Prime. They get Starry. It does come at a pretty hefty cost.
Lose down their AD carry and their jungler. Saber, good combos through that. That's a lot of their spread from the spell flux onto multiple members, but they do lose the fight. And they lose themselves their mid lane. Had a turret some way throughout this play as well. Ultra Prime used the Realm Warp for that, using a bunch of summoners. Ultra Prime, bit of a reality check when it comes to the 5v5, that even if they do kill that Zyra, it will often come at a great cost. Xiaoshu tries to use the minion taxi to get that quick pop-up from the ult. Great flash ult from Junghao. That's what saves this fight. That doesn't come through. I'm pretty sure the Starry just wiped him, especially with the ult and the flash. Can't get himself a great disengage play. I think after he loses that amount of HP, he realizes, let's just not use the flash. I can't flash back into the Yong if you've died. So really, Junghao saving the play with a great engage.
Right over to Harry and Charlotte as well. The end of ult, the public execution with a flash ball from Charlotte to make sure that Wacko couldn't arcane chip out of it. Then he got blasted without an inability to use any of his summoners there. So really good stuff on that one. The problem is, of course, we've still got to deal with the fact that this Yorick is going to be pretty difficult to match on the side at this point. No boots, of course. Doesn't feel the need to use them right now. Trying to become a side lane menace, as we know that Yorick's can become. Gold lead, though, once again expands as a result of that play in mid lane. The turret, the kills, all feel pretty good there for OMG nonetheless.
Yeah, so EGN, we'll see when he gets to... Well, he hasn't got himself some new boots yet. He's going bad foot. Grippers for free.
In this economy?
In this economy. It's interesting decisions made there by EGN. Dragon spawning soon.
He's got dogs out, he's got cats out. They're not even running with me.
Awesome. Again, on top side, getting 1v2'd right now. Junho over the wall.
Getting very low here. Doesn't have a lot of HP to work with the public execution. Might have been just white flash regardless. A little bit afraid with his ability to keep dashing on forward. So Summoner loses the maid, stays alive.
Surprised that Junho didn't hop over the wall and look to ult someone. I do think you win a 2v2 like that. They'd be afraid of rotations coming up. They didn't have the best vision in topside jungle. Mo now going down towards bot side. They try and go for a long wrap around onto Rise. He should be out safely as well.
Shuffles around. He's body block off with the dragon spawning. Looks like Ultra Prime has already committed a fair amount of resource towards the top side of the map for that shove. Side against looking to contest this dragon as it stands. Are going to come into the jungle though. Try and find their blue buff. Oh well. Momentarily caught out there. Doesn't turn into anything. Instead, turns into blue buff secure. Acid Khan though is a different match entirely. OMG on it. Burn this one down. I'm going to have to try and force their way through bot side river. I have an idea that it's happened.
Here they are getting shredded by this. Hellbot coming in from the Yorick. Uranwalk used for vision. That's a great ult.
Knocks the Skarner away. They can look into contact. Moment of big quickness in. Harry, big ult. Trying to find the angle as they get the entrance back down to 1200 HP and they can slide it away regardless. What looked like a wonderful keeper's verdict will not be enough.
They shang.
Looking for an angle. Can't quite find it. Potentially there. Gets Rune Prison. Wacko. Oh! Gets caught. Tries for the flash and pale and misses. Xiaoshu will probably die as a result of this and goes down. They can't find what they're looking for. Driven back, Wacko flashes away from the public execution. Caught just wide. OMG frontline threatening, not landing as aggressively as it might have done.
Messy fight around the Atacon. Hang on a second, he's just jumped over that. Ultra Prime, do they see themselves a way to play around this? No, they use that Realm Warp a little bit less efficiently than I would have liked before. This Junho does have the ult. Does have flash coming up. Be able to spot a couple of these recoils coming through. Be over the wall. Do they go for engage? Junho's trying to just harass the retreat here a little bit.
Tier 2 being low here as well. If they can just keep people waiting, stop some of these retreats, you can be quite threatening here. Especially if you can start, say, allowing this Yorick to get a shove in mid lane. They have to be delayed a fairly significant amount of time on that reset now.
We'll see what that leads to. I think there are a couple of mistakes made here by Ultra Prime on the engage. This is a great pop ult. That should be your go sign. The fact that the ViQ gets very little done here as well is a big problem by Junho. I think that ViQ could have done a lot more. That first cooldown, especially for a jungler with a lot of gold on them, is a bit of a problem. They don't get to use the Shred at the Atacon, kind of aggroing onto OMG for such a long time, and the damage it would cause onto them. And then, of course, the Flash Impale. That missing That's the big turning point of this fight. That had landed, easy fight. Everyone walks away. Well, no one gets to walk away from that for free from Ultra Prime after that.
Slightly lucky, I think, it's a little later in the game, because that would have been a potentially very dead Skarner if we had an extra item on a couple members. That said, though, Saber now has the fully stacked Roa and Seraphs. Wacko with the Transformer Romana. Some of these big item breakpoints for Ultra Prime coming online. Only 2 or so thousand gold behind, so certainly not out of this. Yes, some objectives are missing. The Atacon, the Dragons, the Grubs. There are still good things for OMG, and it's why we're seeing the statistical advantage going their way. It's not, however, out of reach, and that can get a little bit scary. In the picture-in-picture, we can see Tier 2 being traded potentially for Tier 2. And there's even with the Grubs, it feels like this Yorick is split pushing away and sends all those Grubs. Not Grubs, the Ghouls. I keep calling them Grubs because they look a little bit like the Mites.
The Mites, yeah.
They yell more.
They do a little bit.
And these ones go meow.
Oh, they do. Yeah, true. I don't have audio on. You've got the headphones on right now. But
angry cat noises.
I have to say, when it comes to why is he casting the attack on that? Huh. When it comes to like that kind of like ghoulish zombie-like sounds, I think there are two stand out for me. There's like that zombie yell from Call of Duty. That's like top tier. And then the best one is like the flood screeches from Halo. That stuff is chilling. That's great. I think that the clickers from The Last of Us have a pretty unique sound. That's like unique though. I wouldn't call that more of a typical zombie sound. Those are the two I'd put that though. The COD zombies and then Halo Flood. They're like my top tier zombie-like sounds. Yeah.
On the COD zombies one, you know it's based on the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold. That's where.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because I remember listening to
Critical Acclaim is the one.
Critical Acclaim.
That is absolutely where it comes from. It's actually a deliberate thing from Avenged Sevenfold, but that's a big kick off there onto Egen, who will be screaming a little bit like that in rage as he's ganked his first death of the game. And look at the Tier 2 here as they teleport towards the other side to try and stop Rise from him.
Goes into that bot side turret, inner turret taken. Rise not be able to get much on this other side, and basically throughout most of this game, Ultra Prime has struggled to deal with the clumped up unit of OMG. And OMG playing for nothing but pride now. They have mathematically been locked into bottom 2 of Group Nirvana. For those of you that don't know what that means, this is their last series of the year. They're playing for pride, but they've been separated out on this bot side. Starry and Moam, no teammates coming.
The teleport and Harry, but nothing from this Galio. Tried to buy up for their way through with quicknesses and feather storms. The keeper's ready to go. Why the feather's not in range. Starry is down. Moam will surely fall afterwards. And they claim the bot lane. Flash from Moam, trying to buy some time. But to what end? We've got a dragon in 16 seconds and you're not going to have your bot lane around.
Moam's going to be able to delay a long time, though. The fact that he spends this much time dying means that you don't get a clean push with that wave coming through. Saber will be able to push up with that, but the wave has been delayed by about, 10, 15 seconds, which is important when the dragon is alive now, and Saber maybe just a little bit behind the map. A lot of this comes from Moam delaying.
Danger. He's still pretty tanky, has the Zhonya's, doesn't have the Seraph topped either, so he's a lot safer, I think, than perhaps he might otherwise have been. Loses that Zhonya's cooldown, because it is only the arm guard, so only the one activation available until that completion comes on through. The second dragon secured, and it gives Ultra Prime time. And that is what they were looking for. Let's have a look at this one as John Howe just walks his way down behind everybody.
Had a sweeper on at first. What happens after this then? Yes, he doesn't walk over control ward, using that Q to move around the map quicker. And then there's the Monster Energy Blast come on the Chemtech Rift, which helps with that. Q over the wall, full CC, tries to get some heal. Does Moam, can't stop the ult coming through. And that's just, 2/3 of the HP down immediately just from Vi. Jun Hao has been such a key player for Ultra Prime whenever they've achieved anything in the LPL. This split.
Don't ever say it's over. Starry walking. See? Walking down the bot lane.
Yeah. Has Lil Nas X done much since that album?
I don't follow Lil Nas that much.
Yeah, me neither. Montero was fun. Like, it was everywhere for a little while.
It was very good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so, gold lead, still there for OMG. About 1,500 gold. No, still 2. We'll round it up.
Yeah.
You've got 3 items on time. You've got an arm guard on the Galio. Life's okay here. The problem is, this is not being a clean snowball. Still trying to go into Wacko. Took a little bit of doing, but they do get a lot of CC. And Wacko absolutely chained into the ground.
Has still got his flash. Had the cleanse. Didn't matter. Just dies so unceremoniously then. That'll open up the Baron for OMG. That's a big swing in the game.
Gun House, still on central flank angle. They burned a lot there. Watch out, it's only the quickness they really burn in terms of big cooldowns. They're still trying to play this 4v5, maybe forced to. John Howe on the flank angle is going to be spotted out this time by that ward. Flash shield dropped. Saber also looking to wrap around and join the team. Deeper's verdict knocks the starter away, but that's towards Junhao. Not sure how helpful that actually is to the grand scheme of things. Public execution lands on Dijon, who's going to be a little bit threatened here. Golden goes Saber, has got that completion on the zombies, but they killed off 2. Poppy and Yorick both gone. Realm Warp out, and that has to be Baron now for OMG.
It's a complete retreat from Ultra Prime, and they can't deal with the grouped up unit of OMG. Ultra Prime needed to find ways to play the map a little wider, not give value over to that side. This game was always going to be difficult when Xiaoxia and Wacko gave that double kill over to the bot lane of OMG that early into the game. We were worried that it was going to run this game, and sadly, I think it has done. Ultra Prime, they're behind in the top lane matchup. The only person who's ahead in gold, Junhao and the Vi. And look, as much as I like Junhao, and when he's ahead of the game, this is not a win condition having the jungle advantage in this kind of comp.
No, at least you've got 3 items on the rise. Yorick is still doing fine here in terms of the item breakpoint. So here's a look at Wacko here, who's going to hop away, try and get out to safety, just gets caught by the quickness into the grand entrance. Slammed into the wall. I think you just had to flash there, mate. I'm not going to lie. A little bit greedy, thought the quickness was about to time out. In fairness, it was about to, but about is not actually run out. Means that Wacko dies again. Wait, I'm not sure we should have. Gives another opening on in, and the gold lead expands to a much more notable margin.
So, Junhao will spot it. Be spotted out. He has enough Q cooldown. He'll be fine, right? Yeah, he'll be okay. Beichan. Heading towards him, can't shut down. Very mobile Vi. One of the reasons why Vi, I think, has remained in the pro play is that she's very good at kind of scouting out areas of the map and getting into and out of positions for free, kind of hopping over walls into brushes, getting in across the map a little quicker than other people, especially once they get a bunch of that cooldown reduction and max rank of that Q. Saber trying to wave clear out through bot side, but there's no map presence from Ultra Prime. They're meant to be a split push squad, but they have no split push.
Difficult too at this point with the Baron, the turret's going down. There's the inhibitor turret broken, looking for the inhibitor afterwards. GA for the Vi might give them a little bit more license to really hard send it. Can burn the full combo on the Vi while she's in GA. I'm not less happy about having used your Skarner ult and Galio ult and the like. Has always been something of a breakpoint when you've gone for these shotgun defense comps. Junhao on a flank again.
Starry has flash barrier and ult. Junhao, does he have any vision onto him? No. Blue Trinket will spot out that 2 Beichan trying to get over the wall, and will do, man. Just find that fight. I don't think he wins the 1v1, by the way. He's a little careful there.
Might secure the camp.
Stuns to him, gets him close towards that level 16. Makes Junhao lose a little bit in terms of that value as well. OMG, are they still over pushing though? I don't know. I think they actually might be over pushing here. They're going for the engage.
Getting to the backside. It's another combo onto Wacko. He's got flash again. When will you use the summoner spell?
Not today, and probably not in this game at least. Junhao was looking for a flank, and he's just not here to defend the base. He's in the flank now, but I just don't think it's going to matter.
Drive on forwards again. Xiaoxia goes forwards with the keeper's verdict, but it's still an impale onto Saber, who finally has his Sarah trotted to the backline. We go. There's the GA broken. There's Eugen. Does get brought up. The Geo comes on down. Harry's still desperately scary though. Rune Prism's in. Cease and desist in the backline. Onto Starry, just about to survive. 10% HP, but Harry does not give a flying damn. An OMG. After that bot lane 2v2 kill, a Xiaoxia full sends it. It all snowballs out of control, and OMG will bring us to 3. They're jumping on forwards, trying to pick off some of those key AD carries with that Rel. And that Neferi. Bit of follow-up from Jin and the Jace. The skirmishing is good. The poke is good. Not the most amount of CC, it has to be said. A lot of target access between the various ranged poke options and the dive combos of your Neferi and Akali. Not a lot of CC to do it, but if you can get on top of someone, you will stay there. 280 carries, and a Lilia do not enjoy running away from a Neferi and an Akali and a Rel all at once. Alistair, there's your front line, and if you can play front to back and make sure those scary flankers are warded off, their last ever game in the LPL, can they make it a win? True salute on the way out. For one final time, we head to the Rift. Once again, no Gyos, so Ultra Prime, a nod to you with the potential finality of this game for OMG. And again, nothing is fully locked in yet, but you just have that feeling, don't you? And the rumors swirling. Get you nervous. OMG, Jayo. Again for potentially that final time. Brief scuffle between our junglers there. Bit of trading at the level 1 there. It'll be the grass build from the Jacers. Feel like we've seen a lot more of that into the tanks. It became a bit of that tech to try and manage things like Cassante, actually. It felt like sometimes you just get outstatted. See if it's the Black Cleaver build. Good, level 1. Starts with the W. Just to get more autos out. Misses the first CS, well, the second CS there. Oops. Bot side, shell ship. Level 1 crash down. Starry cues the wave, not Wacko. Am I going to be making Pac-Man references this game? God, yes. Oh, John Howe on the early invade level 2. Looking for the smite fight, gets it. Red buff stolen. The Raptors, Krugs, red buff like pathing is more defensive. Stops you getting caught on that red buff at lower HP or on those Raptors at a scary point. Does mean you can end up losing those fights regardless. John Howe will go back towards his own Raptors. Probably do Raptors, Krugs into his own red. See whether he wants to look at a bot side scuttle fight. Can do. See what the priority is. Has got shove in bot side, so should have the additional man advantage even if Tristana can roam. Tristana Akali's a matchup we saw quite a lot of over the last couple of years. Fell off the radar a little bit with some of the changes to Tristana in particular and some of those items to try and take some of the more oppressive AD carries out of mid lane on a regular basis. Ignoring the red buff, interestingly. Looking to play towards that topside scuttle crab. There are strictly more camps up. All John Howe to secure. Ha! Beishang going to look to try and trade this one out. Throw a swell seed over. Realise there's no Krugs there, but we'll have a red buff. So, in the end of it all, ends up being a traded camp, it's a more efficient path than Beishang. Not sure about that one from John Howe. I think he could have gotten the red buff and then laid that initial scuttle crab takes topside. Saber. Jokin flips forwards. John Howe knows the pathing was a little bit greedy. He will note with Beishang heading across the map that his own red buff has been nabbed. Just about to get the respawn on these wolves. It'll be a relatively even traded camp in the grand scheme. the incentive to learn counter picks. We've actually ended up with the same amount of champion diversity as we had without Fearless, for the record. We are still looking at the same amount of champion diversity. It hasn't changed champion diversity, which I think people were expecting. But no, statistically it hasn't. Basically because people haven't bothered learning counter picks to priority mids, to priority blind picks. For all we got a lot of Azir Corki, nobody's bothered learning the counter picks into those champions because there's no need. You only have to play against it once. So we end up just rotating through the same 6 champions, just in slightly different orders. Late game best of 5s. Maybe. But I do think it's a bit of a shame that some of our more creative players aren't getting value out of the fact that they can just have counter picks. Counter pick value is very, very low these days, especially learning your niche once. Which I do think is an unfortunate trade-off with Fearless. I wanted more Fiora, damn it. I wanted more Camille, damn it. The thing is, we're still going to get Corki Azir. We're still going to get Lucian, Nami, Zerayumi. It's not really stopping that. At least until you hit, like, game 4. Waiting for my Aphelios game. One day. Yeah, Aphelios feels a bit of a weird spot right now. But dropping Gale Force really hurt him. He loved that item dearly. Doesn't quite have the same crazy 2-item spikes that kept him in the game before. It's just not safe enough at the minute, with depending on your item rotations. Maybe if we get some more enchants back in meta, we might be an option. Waiting for my Teemo game, says Burfon. You might be waiting a while on that one. But season 1, I don't have a main. Damn. Variety gamer over here. Chasha and Moam trade out. Moam gets that control wall down. Starry flashing away. Mr. the Chains of Corruption. Eugen with that wonderful bait. Gets the solo kill. Oh, Starry thought he was alone. He was not. The reset wasn't there. Eugen pounces. This Jace could be a problem. Should get the reset off here. Calculated. The Black Cleaver makes sense early on. Into the Cassante, who will be stacking armor. Felt like the best way for Jace to get value into your tanks. It became a bit of a meta option when we were in last split, where Cassante was more of a regular choice. John Howe backs, gets the Eclipse. Won't need a Black Cleaver necessarily this game with the Jace having it. So might be able to go towards Shojin second. Sneaky was a great NA player of Aphelios. Yeah, he was. I think you're our best Aphelios players were. Yon, pretty solid. Shausha goes engaging. Waka goes for Deadly Flurry down. Get that card. No, will pop. That Unbreakable will. You can break his body, but you can never break his spirit! Lilting Lullaby comes across a few. Saber flashing away. Maybe forced to R2 out of the back of the pit and will do so. Joshua looking for the engage, and there was just way more members of OMG around. Jace, top side, doesn't want to teleport, doesn't have the ability to. So sending Harry to that play means that Eugen's going to get a lot of plates here. Won't get the full turret in terms of the plate, but will get first turret all the same. But this Jace is now 2.2k ahead. A little bit over-eager playing for that. I think they expected someone to come and contest Yi-Gen, and they didn't. And so Xiaoxia goes in and goes, oh god, there's a Cassante here too. What a disaster. The poor Dark does some good Aphelios combos, has to be said, I agree. I don't think who the other NA goats on Aphelios were. Double Left was a decent Aphelios. That was good. Danny was more of the Jinx side of things. Yawn was a good Aphelios. FBI was alright. I feel like I'm probably forgetting someone here. Sven is a solid Aphelios. This Jace is going to be very scary. I'm forgetting Tosspot. Yeah, absolutely Tosspot. You're right. You're the real Aphelios go. I should have known. Charlotte should get this turret. Jace backing away from it. Big Tosspot fan. Absolutely. Junha picks up the Heralds. No contest on that one. Grubs for a split. OMG got 2 of them though, so they got the objective marker. Hey! Thank you, Mac. Appreciate you with that sub. 6-month sub. On a long-term mod as well. Hayes Aphelios, another great. Yeah. I was thinking NA Aphelios specifically. Well, Yi-Gen needs to be a bit wary here. If that Swell Seed lands, Lilting Lullaby, I think he's in trouble here. Watch out, Eve. John How comes around, though. Rocket jump away as the explosive charge came on down. Yi-Gen, though, does have Flash now back up and available. Will be able to teleport back to this lane if he wants to come contest this. Splash over the turret, not quite enough. Does he want to TP back in? Yes, he does. Can't quite complete that Muramana as a result of all of that drama. Still back here to claim the wave. Baysham got himself the early Leandries here. Athena's Codex. Ilya's in a pretty good spot this game. It's been a pretty quiet one, hasn't it? Soldier Pipe up a fair amount of gold, and a lot of that is on this Jace, which obviously has gotten that solo kill. Had a really good time in the lane versus the Cassante. I feel like it's hard to find good Grandmaster Challenger ADC content. The best players don't stream it, really. Yeah, I think, especially because you can't duo queue, if you're going to play AD carry at that level, you really need to lock in. Saber. It's on forwards. Rocket Belt. This is some chunk onto Charlotte. Herald was dropped bot and the turret claimed as a result. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Perry going to have to deal with this wave and this Herald, so be late to any plays there. Full ward down in the lane to start spawning out some of that vision. The last Dragon fight did not go well for Ultra Prime. Gunhouse slowed down. Good W. We'll still get hit by that Swell Seed. Gen moving up towards that bot lane. Poised the Blooming Blows, potentially looking for an accelerated shot blast. Accelerate his own body instead to get out of range of another Swell Seed. Dragging up. OMG. Brute force their way into Riverwell. looking like a very dead dragon, and OMG going to be granted it. That's their win con. We said their front to back was a lot simpler. The side lanes, a little bit trickier. Jace and the Akali can be pretty difficult to manage. The Akali can have a lot of kill threat onto the Tristana if the Tristana mismanages the jump. That turret's dead. Visual bug. And the Jace will be absolutely terrifying here. Shunhao into the enemy jungle with the rest of the squad, looking for some potential angles. Red buff was secured there by Beishang with the snipe. Little note as well from apostate, is it? What is it? Apostates. Had to get that one correct. Berserker is a good shout out for really good NAFLers. I think that's fair because I mean Berserker found a lot of his tier 1 debut on Cloud9 out there. Trying to think whether he played a lot of FLS. Yeah, that's probably true. I think it's Zeri was the other one that people went, God damn, this guy is really, really, really good on this champion. Some of those hyper carries were very much his specialty. ADC and Pro versus ADC and solo queue, very different. Oh god, yeah, you know. ADC and solo queue, be a Samira player, be a Neela player. Give yourself some agency. In Pro, your Jins and Zayas and Kaisers. Mix of that utility and hyper carry, really. We are seeing a little bit of things like the Lucian pop back up now and then, aren't we? Need to come back. Shunhao throws out some Dark and Daggers. Sends Moam bleeding. Has picked up that Black Cleaver, by the way. Wants the additional shred. Shower shirt. Potential danger here as he's hit by the Swell Seed and the Blooming Blows. Need to actually remember, I forgot to turn on the social slideshow. There we go. That's more like it. Do yourself over and do watch Berserker on DNF now. It's a sad state of their heads. Yeah, I've heard. Get my boy a team. For a game that I thought was going to have a fair amount of skirmishing, it's really not had it, has it? The Lilia Jace Kali. No one really willing to pull the trigger. Ultra Prime with a solid gold lead, but they have felt like they don't want to 5v5. I understand why. I say that. Potentially looking for an interrupt here. Won't look for it. Goes to pick up the wave instead. 2 minutes on the next dragon would be sole point for OMG, and that is a win con. One item I don't miss is Feral Flare. That item was very silly. Two items largely getting completed across the board here. Not quite the Shadow Flame for the Akali. Not quite the Infinity Edge for the Tristana. 2 for the AD carries. 2 for the Jace. And 2 for the junglers. And Jace with that Muramana transformation from the Black Cleaver is real scary right now. Yeah, the DNF top side is pretty miserable. I agree. Minotaur Dragon. OMG are the ones in the river first. Some good wards here from Ultra Prime. In fact, let's just spot out a couple of those wards that we can see. Actually, we go for the Attack Arm. Alright. No wards on this one. It's dark here. Dark here. It's dark here. They get that in there, but that's going to be a bit late, I think. Pull off the Atacam. With this banana bush control also very valuable. Here, potential teleport angle, but the best teleport flank is, in terms of CC, the Akali probably the best of the bunch. Skunk Crab Photo from 1 by Ultra Prime. Charlotte on a potential flank angle, but going to be hit by the Dark and Dagger, so can't stick around and put too many autos out. John Howe can put in those Dark and Daggers. That's on to Harry, who has that Black Cleaver stack immediately against him. No control over that banana bush, and no one really wants to step forward and put one in. Dragon started, Soul Point for OMG if they can claim it. Saber looking for a blast cone into the backline, John Howe into the pit. Shot blast beginning to be fired out, down to 6,000 HP. Charlotte's Joy, having cleared out the mid lane wave, hops out of the pit. Fast side alteration, double blast cone in, looking for the deadly flourish. Down to 2k HP, that means John Howe isn't there. So Soul Point secured. Ultra Prime look lost. Lilting Lullaby comes on down, flash away from Xiao. She survives. Charlotte, when looking, can't quite find it. Shot blast land. John Howe looking for an angle. And now the Tristan is in danger. Forced to pass the shot away. And dies. John Howe on the other side in a 1v3, keeping people busy, keeping people accountable. The Dark and Daggers keep going on in second. Top charge of the art. The public execution comes in and flash away is not enough. And that gives the Hound's Pursuit reset. If they want it. What happened there? Didn't quite go landing where I was expecting it. Beishang now in danger. Forced to flash. Does so. Soul Point secured and Ultra Prime finally find a fight. But it comes at the cost of the Soul Point. Can they turn for anything else? Baron, Atakan? No. Resets. Frustration. Summoners and kills, but no objectives. That could haunt them in 4 minutes. Your eyes on that dragon. Let's have a look at it again. John Howe feels zoned out, can't get anywhere near it. They try to steal with the Jin up. And they're going to get that Lilting Lullaby. It lands on 2. They see where Xiaoxia is, and Charlotte goes looking, but he's already gone a bit deep. Can't find the Rel, and then in comes Yichem, and they go, oh dear, that's a lot of damage. Problem is he only busts a shots one out, and a flash R from Saber means that one dies, and John Howe's been playing 1v4, dancing around, pulls the Hound's Pursuit, and Starry gets whacked. Does actually escape him. It's Moam who ends up flashing into the bush and doesn't really find a way to survive. Ultra Prime missed that much poke as well with a pretty fair chase. A little bit disappointing, I agree. And that's what they get for having very limited vision control in the river. Mid lane tier 1 being up and available. Very valuable for keeping Starry safe as well. Gold lead, again, is good for Ultra Prime. It is not, however, Soul Point. It is not, however, a 5v5 team comp. You managed to get 2 turrets this game. Congratulations. You need to get more. Carly's getting scarier. Really start spreading some of these backline members a bit more freely. John Howe, also 2.5 items, is no slouch either. The Theory. Looking to throw out some more daggers. Eviscerates over the wall. Deadly Flourish lands. Not that much more. Atakan was threatened by Ultra Prime. Lilting Lullaby on 2. Shasha crashed away. Waka will cleanse. No Lilting Lullaby, but that summoner down is pretty big. It also means that Ultra Prime are not in mid lane and not defending that turret. Awkward from there. That mid tier 1 is gone. Knock up onto John Howe, who all of the pack forced to flash afterwards, down to 20% HP. Yeesh. Not pretty at all. Can they turn to Baron after that? I think they can. John Howe just had to flash. HP's not good either. And they're the ones who can start pulling people around. A minute till Mountain Soul. Baron's up as well. That gold lead will mean very little in the face of a Baron buff. OMG, can you win the series? Well, you don't go out entirely winless. Shows you jump for Jace. There's a potential win comp. It's always going to be a relatively hard comp to execute. Lots of individual agency, but no direct go buttons. Outside of Shouty with a really big flash ult. You can look to go in with the Jace, because they're Fury and Akali actually more rapidly, but not always the easiest. Dragon started. Flip it. Oh boy, here we go. Soul fight. Where is that Lilia? He's in the pit. Doesn't get it. Stolen. Was a flip. Harry now stepping on forward with the Pathmaker. Can't find the Q3 either. And Topho strikes go wide. Splits the uprights. Dragon secured. I'll try and breathe a sigh of relief. We're going for a fairly long distance this time around, guys. Crisis averted for another 4 minutes. Baron now up. Ultra Prime can get that. Feels a bit better again. Jin at 3 items. Beginning to become a bit scarier himself. Getting Infinity Edge for. There's a lot of squishy members who will not enjoy the crit scaling on the Jin. Is it LCK? Somehow it feels like it, doesn't it? Very slow state of affairs. Maybe I need to start asking about ice cream flavors. That's what seems to be the trick, right? Baron. Next point of contention. One would assume anyway, but both teams been a little bit leery of really threatening around it. 3 items for Tristana. On guard in for Beishang. Big moments there. You've got the 3rd item done for the Nefiri. He's gone for the Edge of Night. A bit harder to get picked off themselves. A little helpful into things like the Lily as well, seizing the Chains of Corruption. More ability to threaten and stand forwards. Here we go. Baron started. Saying, OMG, come on. Come fight us. Go down relatively fast here. Fury pretty good at spamming through these with the dogs and the Darkened Daggers. Really get all that much value there. Did they even get a teleport? No. Well, damage check. Passable. 2.5 minutes till the next dragon. We go again on that one. Charlotte. Flask comes over. Oh no, Charlotte. Hit with the shuriken flip. Bust a shot away as well. We've got Charlotte's web. Caught in one of her own. Saber. Shuriken flip there. Rocket Ball to try and claim that. Cannon, you can't quite. Baron started again. Beishang. Control ward in the back of the pit. Lands a Swirl Seal on the Egen. Won't call the Swirl Seal trigger until now. There's the Lilting Lullaby. Chains of Corruption. Onto the Jace. Spot spreading. Eugen's all of the goal lead. Flashes away. He's burning. He's gone. Turn around though. Looking pretty nasty. Hairy. Low. So's Moab. That's the Hound's Pursuit reset. They'll kill off well as the back end of it all though. They've lost their top and support. And trade for just Moab. Beishang feeling empowered to start stepping on forwards. You've got 1.5 minutes on Soul, and you just lost some really, really key members. Single target Lilting Lullabies are sometimes very valuable. They weren't 10 onto Baron though. Don't feel confident enough for that. And that might be OMG's downfall in its own right. Starry forced to cleanse. TP's coming on in. We're going again. Flash. Saber goes in with a perfect execution. Starry's gone. Still got an R2 to work with. Shuriken flip back towards that Twilight Stride. Wacko now slowed. Won't get jumped on. Starry's dead for 45. Dragon and Baron's up. Oh, OMG. You've done all the hard work. Saber says absolutely fucking not. TP, Flash are nowhere for Starry to go there. Brutalized by the Akali, and on to Baron we go with the man disadvantage. TP back in, looking to turn. Beishang, Perry. There, trying to play frontline. Blooming blows onto Xiao. She's now in danger. He's crashed down, so he needs to mount back up. A legendary crash out perhaps coming. Wacko a half as well. Beishang threatening. Blooming blows get that one. You just killed Starry. You're fumbling it all. Flash away from Wacko. Deadly Flurry's landing. Saber looking for an angle, but does not have the angle quite yet. Now into the backline. Looking for what Beishang goes gold and buying some time. And Saber can really threaten here. Can't quite get the kills. Headbutted out of the perfect execution. Gets rocket jumped on. And Charlotte claims the Akali. How? Moam, what a headbutt. What a headbutt. Solo Lena's dead again, and Baron will be OMGs. Beishang survives the fourth shot, survives the R2. Man, take your hat off. That headbutt was brutal. Hopefully we get a replay, because I thought Saber was about to break their ankles. Done it just moments before onto Starry. That can't have been a buster shot, I don't think. Keep an eye again. Let's have a look again. They had the man advantage. They tried to jump Moam, fumble it. Now they're caught on the wrong side of the pit. Still on the Baron, still taking up damage. Xiao just gets run down. They pull up the Baron, but Egen and Wacko are down and late, no HP. Charlotte gets to hop on forward. Xiao's going to die here in short order, and then Wacko needs to flash. Egen split off, gets headbutt, pulverized off the flash. He goes down as well. And Saber's on the angle here. Goes looking. Beishang survives back towards Soul, secured by OMG alongside Baron. That's got to be the breakpoint. They've got the gold lead as well. Ultra Prime. Critical failures in the last minute or so. Some good plays out of people like Moam, don't get me wrong, but the decision-making around objectives has not been it for Ultra Prime. And a team we have criticized for being anti-clutch continues to be so. They'll pick up a consolation out to Khan, but OMG know that people aren't now in the base to come defend, and they can look with Mountain Soul and Baron to start breaking Nexus turrets. One down. Won't shove for the next quite yet. Swell Seed fishing. Looking to find a big one. Headbutt out from Saber, who went rocket belting forwards. Still got that perfect execution. Threatening with 3 items. Void Staffed and the Sorcerer's Shoes upgrade might be enough to break through the fairly heavy amount of resists now. Half a Nexus turret between OMG and Victory. Egen engaged onto, flashes away, lilting lullaby, jumped on down. Saber into the backside, he's 10% HP, and here he's gone all out. They've done it! OMG in the swan song, find victory. Their final series, possibly ever. Set up there the Chains of Corruption, then the Leona. Try and play that one out.
全军出击！
Giles completed. This just truly is anyone's league to win. All it needs is a legend, anyone's legend. League of Legends, League of Legends, anyone's legend. How do you always have these copy passes to hand? He's just got the brain for it. Okay, it's level 1. A bit messy down here. Barrier pop. Jackie will cleanse. Hope burning out a little bit. Summoners down in even affairs, though Jackie and Chris should get level 2 despite the slight HP discrepancy. Piercing arrow onto Jackie. Chris misses the crash down. Deadly flourish also wide. Good footsteps from Hope. One of Ari's Simpbooks. How do I get those points? It's just what Alex has decided to name his channel points because he's a degenerate. This is an interesting invade. Kanavi gets over, lands the denting blows alongside that blast shield, gets the Conqueror stack. Tarzan not having fun, back away, engage on the bot side, big chunk onto Jackie Love, left low, flashing out to safety. Kanavi now looking to turn it around. Kyle has got the flash, will need to pop it himself. Well, that was messy. Flash off Jackie, flash off Kyle. Kanavi going to leave here, run through mid, eat an auto, throws down a decent chunk onto Shanks though. Cream will have to potentially eat a weirding shotgun, won't. We go across the Velvet Cream to go see whether there was an angle there, couldn't quite find it. You get bonus channel points if you're watching. Or if you want to go to stream, flash from Flandre to get the Brittle proc. Burn onto Flandre, trying to get the kill, can't quite. Good reset from Kyle and Hope. It's early, level 2. And on goes Choo Choo, goes back home. Gets what he came for. AS Rificace, good to see ya. 333. Yeah, that was unfortunate. He nearly had it. Knew he was dead anyway. I was like, well, maybe I can bring down Flandre with me. He's probably a tick or so off. There's still early gold lead to an Ornn in this matchup is not what you want. Cream gets the level 6 early. Shank's not quite there yet. Going to be forced to flash. Nice from him. Flash on forward, Shattering Strike, Deadly Flourish. Kanavi left low, but not that low. Kyle will have his Aftershock and Eclipse timeout. That means the Leona in danger with no flash. In comes Flondre with the ult from downtime. Double knockup, Kanavi in danger. Gets the blast shield. Flashing away from Cream, just about stays alive. Oh my day, top esports! The bleed from Tarzan makes it a 1-for-1. That was a fun fight. Enjoyed that one. Where does it leave us? Tarzan with an early kill. Important. Actually up 10 CS here as well. Kanavi has a couple camps, so shouldn't be too far behind. We'll see Tarzan gets kind of caught out here, and they try to jump on him. The Leona kind of getting in the way made this interesting, and they blow up the Leona. There's no flash, no clips, no ult. Oh no, Aftershock up. And then over the wall goes Tarzan. Kanavi gets hit by the ult, and then Tarzan doesn't quite get the kill on Kanavi, who thinks he'll be okay with the blast shield, but then there's just enough bleed to be brought low. Done all the hard work. Scrubs in 40 seconds, down spawn to 8 minutes. Am I going to be in Copenhagen? Should be. Should be, yes. There's a couple logistical things to work out, because I may have some other things happening that weekend, so we shall see. But theoretically, I'll be in Copenhagen at least for the finals. Roddy Ultras will be there in full force. You better be there. I'm really looking forward. It should be a good time. Congrats on that win over Nord. That was very entertaining. We're looking forward to that play game versus Nords. Nord bringing down LR as well makes things very interesting. They are in Copenhagen, yeah. They've sold really well as well, which is great news for the league. Hey, man. Straight broke a sneaky stream when I thought the bros were still busy. Sorry about that one. Sneaky stream. You been Bulldog, mate. Sorry, yes, I did. Yes, I did. That was a fun matchup, actually. The Ballsack Derby. Even if they don't make it, we're going to be chanting, do we think of Bulldog? As you should be. What do we think of Bulldog? Lovely people, like the owners. No, nothing else you'd say there, right? Curtains are called. Shank's in danger. If Jackie could hit a shot. Well, lands 1 out of 3. Grubs went the way of top esports. Worth remembering that. Zoning, Jim. Exactly. Exactly. You get it. Also, we're getting a burn build on the Aurora. Makes some sense. I think when she might end up having to lane into things like the Ornn a little later on. TP back on it. Kanavi won't stick around on the Grubs, especially with Tarzan collapsing too. I think I'm at 1 out of 3 hitting. The 1 out, what's going on? Whole shot 3 hit. And then that was the only one that hit. I think that's where I was in my brain. Perhaps the phrasing was off. We'd only done 1 out of 3 at that time because there was still 1 more shot to go. There was method to the madness. Or was the method just sheer madness? I mean, absolutely. Let's be real. Rumble being down gold to an Ornn is not great news, especially when the Ornn has a very early Hollow Radiance. I can't unhear Baron's grunts after yesterday. I thought I did a good job. My future in voice acting is secured. Shanks will back away. Creed in danger here. Goes across the veil. Oh, good read. Nice work, Flandre. How long on the cooldown does he have? We'll get the ult out of Cream. Weirding lands. Aurora's always been relatively good into tanks. Remember her passive does percent HP damage, if I remember correctly. Double check whether that's changed around a bit. It's been a little while since I've looked at the 3-hit passive on Aurora. Spirit Abjuration, that's the one. Minute until Dragon. AL in the river already. Yeah, it does max health damage. That's right, percent max health, which is nice. Which is scales on AP. So every third hit, very good against tanks if you can go through some of those autos. Wait, Amber's Gambers are back and I missed it. Sorry, enjoying for the win. Amber delivered. The mental engine for Flandres now. He's been playing really well. Gold lead is there for anyone's legend, but 400 gold is hardly a breaking point. Dragon about to spawn. Will be second for anyone's legend. Get that one nice and early. I think we need some sort of Amber alert for the Gamba. Dragon up. TES on the reset now here. Jackie lost about 10% of his HP somewhere. One imagines to some Varus poke. There's a hot dog in the river. 369 trading with Flandre. Good burn. Doesn't quite get shunted back into that volcanic rupture. The Leandri's completion has given 369 a lot more potency in that matchup. Yeah, should be able to pick up this dragon with no contest. Nice for them. I think AL, when you're running an Ornn, when you're running an Azir, will realistically want to get 2 items before they're really, really willing to commit to fights. That a 1 item spike for top esports in general between the double Leandries and the Vion Sundered Sky. Not that Varus is exactly weak, but the Azir and the Ornn need a little bit more time in the kitchen. With the 3 grubs, gonna step up here and try and get a bit of this turret. Waiting on forwards. Here comes the call of the Forge God. Choo-choo! And the wave is cleared. Tarzan looking to trade out objectives here with this Herald. Nash's 2. Threaten that turret, and 369 will do what Flandre did and use the ult to clear the wave, just on the other side of the map. No one at any of the break points of feats of strength yet. Still need some kills, still need a turret, still need some objectives. 15 minutes in. It's been a pretty slow one again. Chains of Corruption. Hang on. Damage is absolutely lethal and crisp. Burnt to it. Resets on a ward. Hit by the Chains of Corruption and Hope. Snaps it up. There's the feat of strength for Martial Mastery. Looking to engage now onto Flandre. 369's TP'd in. Picked up the first turret as well with the Herald, so the feats of strength are anyone's legend. AL getting Flandre to flash away. Should get burned down. Kanavi threatened on the other side, but they've just lost their top lane. That means there's no additional support from that end. 369 looking for a potential angle on in. Doesn't have the flash. Still a CC assist onto Kyle. The Leona in danger. Hope flashing away from the Magnet Storm angle. Tarzan body blocking. Double shattering strike. Call of the pack to try and buy time. Kanavi will die, but has he done enough work? Has done. Tarzan eviscerating forward. Misses the Darking Daggers on the Chris, but can still Hound's Pursuit. Gets a reset. Will die, but takes 2 with him. A 4 for 2 in the grand scheme of things. All the while, though, Shanks will get the tier 2. Or will we get to tier 1? Try and play for this mid lane turret. The TPs come flying on through on Flandre with the... Sorry, Shanks actually TPs on in. We'll be able to secure this turret. Safety, well enough. That is an interesting state of affairs. So AL get better turrets. They get double turrets topside. They get the turret mid from the Herald. They got the initial pick onto Crisp. Then that play bottom side happens. Tarzan sort of jumped on by Kanavi, who flashes away from the Shield of Daybreak. Jackie Love misses that deadly flourish. But they go, cool, we're going to murder the top lane bottom side, and that gives them that initial man advantage. So jumping on in, Hope flashes away from the Magnet Storm. And with the 4v2, they think they can keep on chasing, and they can. But Hope buys enough time that he gets Kanavi. Tarzan gets to jump with the ult onto Crisp and get that too. Bot side, we come back to live, and Rumble is dead. Flandre tanks it up, and they get that additional kill. AL leading in the kills and the gold now. 2,000 gold. Significant here at this point in the game. Map control beginning to fall very heavily in anyone's Legends favor. 2 kills on Tarzan now. It's in theory getting increasingly potent. Navi's Vi, normally lethal. A little bit behind this game is the primary trigger pull alongside Crisp. You've got the combo that earned Top Esports a lot of value back in spring. The Rumble and the Aurora alongside the Vial. Very easy to just say, screw you, Varus, screw you is it. Lock him down inside the AoE Leandri's ults. Is Rumble a cat? Not sure what skin he's running. I don't think so. He's a Yordle, which is a small furry creature, so you know, somewhat cat-like in that regard. Aren't Yordles just cats with IQ? I hear your argument. Bipedal cat hamster thing. Flandre, no ult, no flash. And a Bellows Breath of the Dream is not enough to keep him alive for much longer. I say that. Takes a moment, finally falls. Kanavi will likely die here as trade, and will do so. That gives a House Pursuit reset. Tarzan won't use it. Turret stays. Equalizer and curtains are called. The AoE artillery pieces has overcome freezing. That's Vertible alive! Will die surely at the back end of it and does so. Additional kill. Tarzan has to flash to get out of the Between Worlds. 2 for 2. Flash from Jackie Love to get on top of Tarzan. Eclipse Shield not enough. Jackie having none of it. Additional kill all the while though. Shanks with an Ashes Tooth says, cool, I'm going to play for a tier 2. 5 to 1 in turret. So that's despite being down Grubs. Messy skirmish that's slightly Top Esports favoured. Finally got another turret, but all the while Shanks isn't even there and gets another turret. Zera is just getting further and further ahead. Despite being 4 kills deep, it's a slight lead to the Varus. It's hilarious. Finally get another turret. Dragon's up to Trader though so far. Gale probably in better position to start this one up. Especially with the fact that Top Esports have next to no turrets. Dragon skilled. Gold lead is 2,000. Significant, considering where it is. In the jungle and in the mid lane. The Onivia should be doing some mighty nasty scaling this game. We're hitting 2 item breakpoints pretty much evenly. The discrepancy is in the fact that there's an arm guard now on Shanks. Atacam being started. Call the forward guard once again comes on through. The trains go flying across a few. Jackie Love isn't hit by it though. Kanavi though melted by Tarzan, who once again calls the hounds. Cream says, I'm not sure you want to do that, my friend. And turns it around. Flandre to 1v3, not enjoying it. Atakan shredding people out, resetting. Kurt's now called, looking for the weirding damage. It's Blind, still looking for shots. Fourth onto Leona. Brings them down. 1 for 1. Kanavi down, that means no spite. Jackie Love. Anyone remember spring playoffs? This guy on 4-item Jhin was eviscerating everyone. It takes a little while. Once the Jhin has armor pen and enough crit to seriously threaten with not just the 4th shots, it really does become a very potent carry. Kanavi tagged by the Zenith Blade Solar Flare combo just about, and so gets popped. Kyle though taken very low from it. Flogger ends up in a 1v3 as Tarzan went looking at Cream, and Cream says, I don't think you want that, and he really didn't. Then the problem is they get caught in the bush with all the Atakan shred. Hope has to flash away from the weirding. Kyle tagged by that shot. A little bit too greedy, a little bit too deep from AL. And they lose a couple kills. Still up in gold, still up in objectives. Have the feats of strength. Chainless crushes for the Azir will be valuable here, I think, into the Rumble and the Aurora, as his lane opponents in the side options. Two minutes until next dragon. Atakan, not been taken. But the ornaments are starting to come on through. Ghostblade upgraded now for this Varus. Reminder, or question. The way ornaments work now is it upgrades every stat on the item, pretty much. Rather than just being a unique new item. Does Ghostblade upgrade give the Varus move speed? I actually don't know. Anyone know off the top of their head? Jackie Love nearly at an Infinity Edge. Every innate stat except crit, so I think so. There you go. That was my thinking. So potentially a very heads up item upgrade there. Move speed in this game versus the likes of a Vi, Aurora, even the Rumble, without having to hit the active. Valuable here, I think. Here we go again. Minute until dragon would be sole point for anyone's legend. Atakan still up in the same area. A good fight around one probably leads to the other. Baron's also spawned. Heard the upgrade noise. Leandries. Now more potent for Shanks. That could be a significant break point. He did say we somewhat favoured the AL scaling. The range, the Ornn, the Azir. Shanks, though, used to be a little wary. They don't know they're in the bush. Kanavi waiting. The trap isn't sprung. Flandre now in his own tri-brush. Is he upgrading his own item? Building one. Chainlace crushes for him. Third item just got done by the Varus and the Azir. Full Zhonya's. Full Edge of Night. Infinity Edge, though, for Jhin. Jackie Love is going to hit like a truck to anyone not named Orn. Dragging up. Anyone's actually in position in the river. Trying to make sure Top Esports will not find easy ingress. Kanami just loses a third of his HP to what amounts to 2 autos from that Azir. Dragon. It's anyone's legend. Now, according to the wiki, only the AD gets increased. Okay, there you go. So no move speed on the Ghost Blade. Still, one of the higher AD items. So there you go, gets upgraded. Here we go. Atakan under siege. Surely you don't give up both Top Esports. And the answer was no. That line of control wards finally being cleared out, but there was a nasty old line basically straight the way up there of control wards. One in there gets a bit trickier. That should have been a circle. Giving some vision over the Top Esports as Cream's in there, threatening Flandre off. The problem is the AL have still managed to get into the river just fine. 369 looking to threaten with a potential equalizer. Gets a good one through the tree bush. Lock up onto Cream though. Chris bled out down to 2000 HP. It will be a smite by Tarzan's in there and gets it. What about the curtain call afterwards? Kyle trying to body block will immediately get eviscerated. Chris at the back end of it, all in danger. Cease, desist, blows up another. Azir down for the count. Tarzan finally gets his reset, but is it too little? Is it too late? They murder everyone. Atakan secured. But the curtain call on the Between Worlds value is way too high. Congratulations, you killed Rumble. It was not stopping the Jhin ult. It was not stopping the Aurora. Zonya's be damned. The Azir falls. As does the Varus, and now Baron is the prize. Let's have a look at this one again. So initially, Top Esports forced off the Atakan by the Solar Flare, by the Call of the Forge Gods. Atakan's good, but the extraction, the exit from the play isn't enough. And Jackie gets a wonderful angle to curtain call. The Magna Storm at the back of it. The Between Worlds and the cease and desist mean Hope is in danger. Shanks is in danger. The key carries weren't threatened. Shadow Flame now done for the Rumble. Oof. Dark Seal is fully stacked for Cream. Death Cap completed. Ignores the Blighting Jewel completion. Ignores the Medjai's completion. Baron in as well. This Aurora deceptively strong now. What felt like a done deal in terms of where the Azir was at. Flipped around a bit. Yes, the ornaments are coming on through. And that does give some extra value. Make no mistake. Whole raft of them. Everyone but the Leona. With that ornament in inventory. Top Esports have a lot of standing gold to pick up with this Baron if they can get some of the shove on. Nearly at what will amount to a Lord Dominic's regards. The Jackie Love has the quick cloak in inventory. Kanavi in danger, gets jumped on by Tarzan. That was the ult pot, I think. Hound's Pursuit now down. There you go, goes on cooldown. I was correct. Tier 2 under siege. That Atakan can come to Hort. AL. 4,000 gold lead out of nowhere in a minute until Dragon. They will be shoved back towards their base by the Baron. Reset from the Jhin. Gets him a Lord Dom's Regard. 75% crit. Lethality. And Armor Pen. Ain't no one dealing with Jhin right now. I'm not sure the Ornn is. He's got double Leandries as well. So it's not like being like the Jhin has to be on sole tank killing duty. It's not exactly his forte. Musical reference and a 4 in there. Saving that one for a fight at some point. I'll have to workshop it. 30 seconds on Dragon Soul for AL. That might be a win con. what felt like a male-favoured game suddenly looks a lot more dubious. For all they have the objectives and feats of strength and all these other things, that Baron loss and that fight loss might be the straw that breaks Goat God's back. TP in. Deadly Flourish just wide. Eyes on Jackie Love. Eyes on Tarzan. Those are your big playmakers here. Curtains called, equalizer called, 369 in danger. Burns down a few people, but dies doing it. They've murdered Hope. 1-for-1 just down. Top lane of Brady carry. Call the forward, got to go from the members over 369. Sorry, Flandre doing a lot of work on that all. Into the backline goes Tarzan. Jackie Love breaks Neferi. Full shot, Kanavi with that. Guardian Angel doesn't get value. Dies. Cream though, threading. Shanks! Slide glide! And divides Cream from his health bar. Jackie Love with the fourth shot. Oh my days, it's a 2 for 3. Topside dead for Top Esports. Teleport available from Shanks. Surely you cannot think to just run up the dragon. Shanks needs to be a bit wary on this. Sounds like a lot of captive audiences. Shattering strike! Golden gonna stand on the captive audience after. Needs to be anyway! Jackie Love running away! And Zirban! And Shanks! 5-1-4! Finds the double. The Emperor stands undaunted. And that's all. .369 looks at the flank. He has no Zonyas. He absolutely gets murdered. He takes most of Hope with him, though. And it gets interesting because the call of the Forge God breaks a lot of people. Jackie Love, though, stands and delivers versus Tarzan. Taken very low, forced that fight, though. Cleanses the bleed. Crisp help keeps him alive. But it means he's not there to support Kanavi and Cream, who are in a 1v3 of their own. Crisp doesn't find the flash crash down. Shanks just steps under it. And then they go, we can't give up, so we have to try and stand and fight this. And they try to blow up Shanks. But he goes golden, buys time. And the burn is enough. Can't get that shot off. I think if he had, Shanks might well have died to the Rel combo just about. Baron in 40 seconds. Cloud Soul on items. Atakan. Lots of edges here to anyone searching for all the gold is Top Esports' favourite. The problem, of course, will still be that this is late game and Rumble nearly has a death cap. It's died a few times, but Azir, Neferi, Varus. Any one of those eats more than one tick of Rumble ult, they are going to cry. Tears of flaming blood, mostly. There's your LPL gold graph. We managed the grand total of a 3.8k gold lead. That's it. Buckle up. It's another objective fight. We're 35 minutes deep. IL. Not caught by that deadly flourish. That could have been interesting. Tarzan at level 16 has got a mighty pack. And all of those hot dogs. Off sale. Cream goes across the wall. Call the forward. God! Shanks! Emperor's Divide! It is a top draw mathematical equation, and the answer equals a Top Esports division. They're gone. Two dead. Jungle down. Mid down. No ways, but it is a Baron. Now to mid, 20 seconds on Cream, 20 on Kanavi. It means it's mid tier 3. It's an easy loss. Jackie eats the poke from the Varus. It means he can't stand there very freely. No lifesteal in this gym build. Or even go last GA. Bloodthirster. Both fine.
Equalizer on the wave isn't awesome. Another inhibitor turret for but not the inhibitor itself. Everyone back up and available. Top esports. Looking a little bit lackluster over the last 5. Thought that might have been a bit deep from Tarzan, but it earns you cross the veil. And Shanks goes heat-seeking into the backline. Oh, it's the point of view. Hound's pursuit over the wall, and then Shanks goes for blood. Shoves him right back into the tray. Oh, no, no, no. You aren't getting off on this station.
Death cap done for the Rumble. That could still be interesting, couldn't it? Full build for the Azir, though. Bloody hell. As is the Varus. Not quite there on the Ornn. It's not like top esports don't have damage. If someone gets caught out, they will die. If Shanks gets taken out before a fight, or for free, it gets interesting. Jackie in danger, hit by that call of the Forge God, forced to retreat. I mean, he's not there for wave clear. Na'Vi flashing away from that volcanic rupture. Cream goes across the veil. He's got an elixir of sorcery running, knows that this last fight will be pivotal. Final inhibitor turret under siege. Cannon just chipping away. And it will fall. Another piercing arrow lands. Solar Flare. Jackie cleanses. Tried to hold it. Couldn't. Tarzan eviscerates over the wall looking for a threat on the flank angle. Hound's pursuit up. And available to be used. Twofold Hex. Flandre stepping on forward. Steady flourish wide. Down to half on the Ornn. But has the teleport. Can just reset. Equalizer in. Tags a few. Curtains are caught. But it's not killing anyone. Fourth shot, chunks Kyle low. AL retreat. Lose some health bars down to about half, but it is not the full kill. Jin now with the G8. Tarzan, sorry, Knavi. He's got theirs reactivated. It's off cooldown. TP down bot, 369. He went to shove the wave, and it's too far. TP now in from Shanks. They haven't fully reset. There's an Elder coming up, and you've just lost your Rumble. I get why you're trying to shove, trying to find a point of ingress for top esports to get towards this Elder. This has been started, but they have to do it 4v5. Kanavi's in danger. Chains of Corruption, call on the Forge God. And Kanavi will answer, but it was a payphone. Shouldn't have taken that one. The international call's coming. You always had to pay for those calls with your blood life, didn't you? Elder is anyone's legends. Elder secured. Base broken. 30 seconds on Kanavi. Sure, 369 is respawning. It has to be an equalizer from the gods. Unfortunately, going up against an Ornn. Not the only one who's got a deity to work with, and there's a little bit more aptly available. All inhibitors down. Elder Dragon, anyone's legend. On the verge of winning game 1. Between World Summons, the curtains are called. And anyone's legend are asking whether they have to take the bow. Shanks gets the double. The Hound's pursuing in the backline, quite havoc. And let's slip the Dogs of War. Seed 2 takes down Seed 1 in game 1. And top esports second best this time out. 11-1-8. The Emperor ramp. Onto the riff we go. Let's listen to those gyros. Ready for this potentially final game of the day.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他。全军出击！
Stop that volume a little, shall we? Engage, level 2, looking for the headbutt into the wall. It is solid. Jackie Love left low, not quite down. Barrier burn. Kyle burn both summoners to make that happen. Shanks doing his best to get a bit of value here on the Orianna. Ooh, Cream forced the flash. Kyle. Cream, slow down, Tarzan. Get a bit of a chunk on forwards. That gravity field was good. Make it rain comes down. Kyle will minion taxi out. Flash from Chris is flashed in turn from Tarzan. There's no staggering blows. Someone is blown. One dies. Aggressive early start.
Bit of a trade down bot from 369. Doing well enough in this matchup, actually, early. Not always a fun one for the Jace. Gets harder and harder as things like the Morning Mist begins to land a bit more regularly. Tarzan goes for this invade, picks up blue buff, I think. Took him a second there, just to wait on that Comet Spear. Grub's being taken out here, just dragons will get traded. I realised I said it was an invade against Tarzan with his own blue buff. Dracula, Kepler, Pulverize, could be in a bit of danger here. Navi can come on over though, flash on forwards, in comes the Grand Star for Jack in danger. He's just on the wall, blows that one up. His hope does get that Valkyrie on in. Shockwave onto Cream, who's now in danger. Gravity filled down as the Arcane Storm is now flying on top of Cream. The Grub taken by Tarzan. Kill to anyone's legend, not too much more. Tarzan gonna be able to trade, he didn't even get assist on that one with that Grand Starfall. Either well, it's Jackie learning both summoners. And his opponent's number picking up that kill. Headbutt away. little bit slower again as of the moment. But maybe a bit of a play happening now around this bot side. Teleport comes on in. Flandre turns up. Here on the Yorick lands the Morning Mist, but there are no grubs. Oh, sorry, ghouls really summoned. Doing that to threaten the Misfortune too much. 4 Graves now on the ground. The last right will bring them rolling around. Control ward in the middle of the lane to deal with some of those deeper wards to track out roams and stuff. 1 kill in 11 minutes. That's the one, Yasuke. Good to see you. The Tryndamere mid goat himself. Jackie gonna bullet time the wave and also gets rid of some of the pandas as a result. Still a minute and a half until the next dragon, so able to drop that one. 369 flashes Kyle. Looking for the very aggressive play. Roam up top side, 3 members here. Hope comes below. Just be a bit wary. Headbutt in. There's the ult from Kyle. Unbreakable Will. Triple pulverize. Still going to be in danger here. Doesn't have that flash. Still looking to try and trade through the ground. Starfall now here. Close to prison. On top of one. 369 low. Will go down surely. Does so. Permafrost coming on down. Kanavi surely going to fall as well. Bacon for breakfast. Hope gets that one. They kill off Kyle, but he buys enough time. And it means Flandre's getting alone time on this turret as well. Anyone's legend come out with everything they could ask for there. Will be a teleport for 369 in a second or two, and that's nice. Problem is, 3 plates just went the way of Flandre. Still not got a chance to complete the TP. Jackie gets one top side, there's that. Problem is, of course, Hope now 2-0-1, Trinity Force nice and early. This is game 5 of potentially 6 hours. We could be going another hour after this. And we didn't even have pauses. Welcome to the LPL these days. Nice glacial prison. Valuable getting one back. Hang on. 369. Why are you there? How are you there? Did you go play for that turret? Don't know. Anyway, dies. Unfortunate. Flandre back on this. You're one of our first recipients, users, wielders of the champion here in the LPL. Didn't find that much success with it. In a good position this game. Back to even with the Jace. Everywhere else looking very good right now for AL. Dragons up. Do you want to play for it? Oh, doesn't look like it. Flandre has next to no mana. Kanavi tasked with clearing out this minion wave with the Jace being dead. Jackie in danger, jumped off. And just get melted over the turret. Kyle tanks it up. 3-0-1 now for Hope. Might lose the dragon for this, but they're going to try and play for the turret instead, I think. Defeats the strength for them. Flandre's coming on over, threatening 369, who gets slowed down. Shank's coming on over. Tarzan here as well. Lucas might fight it and wins. Tarzan shield pop. Not going to interrupt Kanavi, but already Flandre beginning to throw some loud fights and a lot of pandas down. And the shockwave brings the Poro Rider low. This turret will surely be falling here with the Maiden and Flandre around. Auto Q. Grand Starfall onto 369. Oh my days, they're going for more. Top turret, I think, also just fell. So 2 turrets, a dragon, and a kill. Phenomenal moment for anyone's legend. This game, I say this with slight trepidation, is a done deal. The LPL led, so who the hell knows? Kyle, now in a spot of danger himself. Doesn't quite have the unbreakable will. There's 4 members going down. Hope's about to come on over, and that's just a dead cow. And that'll be the Herald too. I don't know there. Kyle left there alone. I guess he was setting up wards for this Herald. He burned for it. Arcane Storm, about it. Do they want to play this? They might. Be a bit bold. They have to do this, guys. Objective bounty. Hope Valkyrie's away from the hook. Jackie Love now eating a lot of damage as the shockwave onto Chris. Death charge in. Still dies despite the glacial prison. Now they can run it. Kanavi has no flash, no Arctic Assaults, and a long cooldown at this point in the game. Shield Bolt in. Hanky enough, I think, to be able to back out to safety. Cream under a spot of threat as well. Shank sends the ball forward. Hope now left to attack mid lane. Valkyrie forward from Hope. He's jumping on Jackie. Gets the flash, doesn't get the rocket. Flash to flash. Now 369 is coming. I think Hope's dead. He's gone too far. There's the barrier. Doesn't mean anything. Gets thundering blows back towards Jackie Love, and that's a shutdown going towards Misfortune. If he'd landed that rocket, maybe it was different. But 369 fast enough with the rotation up to make that one a 1v2. Bit far. Grand Star falls in. 369. He's in a dark procession. Looks a lot like a hearse, just with panda stickers on. Global with Yorick. Underline it. Scream it to the heavens. It's how it's supposed to work. And the Jace just does not get to play the game. Mid lane turret under siege. This time, Hope's not Valkyrieing forwards a little too aggressively. Picks that one up. Tier 2 under siege on the bot side. Shanks for the clockwork wind-up. Tarzan and Flandre. Threatening that one. A big old demolished bot. Kanavi's there going, can I walk up to this? No, you can't. Stop being there. Leave. Eat the fury of the pandas. Cream will at least get a tier 1 top side. Well, threatening here. Jump over the wall. Kanavi. Pepper pulverize interrupts his Arctic Assault. We'll get out to safety. The aftershock was enough to keep him topped up and not too under threat. 50 seconds on next dragon. So point for anyone's legends. Tarzan walked up and won the smite contest last time. Flandre meanders topside with his giant monstrous panda. Makes weird cat meows. 20 seconds. Flandre looking to shove that one up. Has got a teleport. So does Cream. It is top esports in the river first. That banana brush control, always very valuable. Crisp and Kanavi sitting inside it. Put the wall over into that blue buff. Cream stuck in the dark possession. Throws down the gravity field and the arcane storm. They're still eating a lot of damage from the Maiden of the Mist though. And the little pandas just want to say hello, Cream. Look at them, aren't they adorable? Eat some morning mist and the pandas! Bring low the Herald of the Arcane! Big stun onto Kyle. Jackie Love went and survived, gets a bullet time, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. They will rightly bring down the Orianna, but the Grand Star one to the back line means that this Orianna may well be swiftly avenged. Shield Vault, Aegis Assault. Misfortune is indeed unfortunate. 369 needs to run. But to where? Can he clear out some of the wave? Might be all he has to his name. He's got a full level advantage. Kyle needs to be a bit wary of a potential turnaround. Hope will Valkyrie over, has the Gatling gun running. Rockets to the skies. To be a bit wary, and a final auto empowered by a Trinity Force brings low the Jace. Flandre naps the Gromp. Tarzan can head back towards the Dragon. Team fight 1, kills secured, and shortly Soul Point. Herald was dropped mid. It gets headbutted and pulverized and attacked a lot. It might get a charge off, maybe. Who's a faint hope? Morning Mist over the wall, just shy on the minions. Shojin's done for this Yorick now. Ugh. This Pantheon is 2k ahead of the Sejuani. Kyle goes on forwards and his will is unbreakable. And so is his body. Konami though. Just looks like breakfast. Teleport in from 369. Kyle still stepping forwards, gets another headbutt pulverized, surviving for a second or two longer, will finally fall. 369 dies. As hope. Valkyrie's eternal. That counts as spring. Kanabi trading out with Tarzan, and Tarzan, he's the king of the jungle! What do you think was gonna happen? All the while, Thundre's not there. He's soloing Atakan. That dragon that wasn't taken earlier will be taken now. AL get absolutely everything, but they lose Shanks. Fine. 606 for the Pantheon. Dragon, Atakan, team fight. Game 1 felt close at points. This one has not. 369 is 0 and 5. Jackie's at least picked up a few up. Despite being constantly mauled by various Pantheons and Alistairs and everyone looking for his head. The Jace just has not been able to play a side lane. Every time he's done, there's a Pantheon or Yorick waiting to jump on him. Kyle is a mighty frontline at this point. Na'Vi tries to run away, gets away for a little bit, and then they just don't get enough damage. The Aegis Assault comes on him, blocks up a lot of the bullet time. Kyle goes forwards, gets Queen, will die for it, but it's fine. As 369 turns up the teleport, Tarzan says, no you don't. Tarzan starts trading with Konami while Jackie's split between too many people, goes flashing for an auto, and Valkyrie's far enough away for the love tap auto to not come on through. At least Jackie takes Cream with him. Sorry, Shanks with him. In they go with the Grand Starfall. Bullet time is good, but it's blocked by the Aegis. So Shockwave flashed away from 369. But Crisp gets pulverized. The water pressure too much. Always was more deadly underwater. A double for Shanks. Vengeance for the last team fight. Cream, 369, the solo lane for top esports. First in the league. Broken by their direct rivals. They've been cracked, showing we knew they had one or two flaws to the game plan, didn't we? And anyone's legend, come on in and dismantle them. There's 25 minutes on the clock at top esports. I'm left wondering what on earth happened to the game plan. The 1v1 was a demolition. Game 1 was tighten up, and game 2 is a statement indeed. Anyone's legend. Don't write them off quite